What's up? Welcome, misfits, one and all, to tonight's episode of Skeptic and Ranting. The Big Bang Debunked. Dun dun dun.
They did it. They did it.
They finally did it, and it was on a YouTube channel, like we all knew it would be. Where tonight we are watching a video called, let me grab breath. Big Bang Debunked. God versus Big Bang. How old is the universe? Big Bang versus God. Intelligent design. Short. Did.
All the buzzwords.
Please. I know. From Living Forever. So, won't you join James W. and myself, Amy Newman, for a good time worth expanding for? Oh my. I want to thank everyone out there for joining us on the intertubes. Oh my, it almost is 15 feet. Please, if you enjoy the show, don't forget to like, follow, or subscribe. Woo! Because then you gain access to that bell icon, which when hit to all will send you reminders to see our premieres or join our live streams. What is up, interwebs?
Hey guys.
We are a skeptic channel, admittedly, including the two schmucks that you see hosting before you. However, after the housekeeping open statements and I would say the opposition viewpoint tonight, we will be opening up the floodgates, or rather the open mic, so you can say what's on your mind about the topic, atheist or theist, liberal or conservative, come as you are. Just out of my flag. My poor flag. All right, fine.
Still got the dino flag.
Yeah, that's right. I maybe should have changed to
It's fine.
something spacey, but it still applies because they don't believe in deep time. In fact, it actually, now that I think about it, it does apply because they don't believe in billions. And I love, I was just talking about this with James. They like to use specific language. I also feel is them getting a little self-triggered, like the myth of billions of years. It's just like, all right, buddy. As long as you're taking, you don't like myths, right? We can both agree we don't like myths. Let's just start from there, and we'll move forward. But yes, this housekeeping is sponsored by our channel members, linked in the description, and our Patreons, who can be found at patreon.com/Amy Newman. Woohoo! Who help us make even more content, including awesome Patreons.
This is live. This is live.
Is this live? Live? God?
Yep.
Jesus? Satan? No, it's just
Soros?
humans. George. Well, no, he's here. George, are we doing good? Thank you. And we get paid only in shekels. We don't even live in Israel.
Israeli
somehow.
shekels, yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know why, but you know. Anyway,
we have to go convert it.
Yeah, I know. It was a hard time a few months ago for ruples, but you know, we have to convert from sending love to us, the Atheist Network Group, connecting atheists. And I keep on saying this with James, you know, we love connecting atheists because we don't schism, we don't do holy wars, agnostic, atheist, non-believer, whatever you call not believing in theism, or you're a theist that just doesn't believe that, I don't know, the earth was 6,000 years old, then I think we're good.
Yeah.
And I love that it's the earth and the universe, as if they're like kind of...
Well, I mean, the whole universe was created just for Earth, right?
Exactly. Oh, I love that. Not only that, but the more you think about it, the more you realize that God is just there to create us. Like, without us, God has no meaning. There is nothing. It's just Him waiting for us to be made. But
Yeah,
sending
I was looking the
love.
other day, and I saw a video, and it had it was a little old, but I'd never seen it before. It had like some pictures of I think it was 2018 when the probe came really close to Pluto, and it got like the most detailed pictures that we've ever had of the surface to see what it looked like. And yeah, I was just thinking, this is one dwarf planet in one measly solar system in a huge galaxy among billions of galaxies. And how much cool shit is there out there that we'll never see? And to think that all this was made just for us is kind of silly if you think
Kind of
about that.
solipsistic.
Yeah.
And a lot of flat earthers, which I really realized, I would say about 2/3 into watching this video, that this guy kind of, I think, flirts with flat earth. Flirts with flirts. Like, there are just statements in here, I'll let you guys decide,
Yeah.
that are just, let's just say, not science friendly. But that's why we've brought the Skeptic
Dog
crew,
whistling
all of you out
flat
there.
Earth.
Yes, but sending love to us and sending love at youtube.com/the Atheist Network Group, and also sending love to Tang Gang and Ian Davenport.
Ian.
I should start linking the Facebook group. That's the other thing I should start doing. I should cross-seeding the entire Skeptic and Ranting community. That's right, sending love so much to Ian and reminding you that although blushies are human-created, our organs form naturally. Who would have thunk it? Apparently not religious people, but sending so much love.
Not
Ian,
religious
and sending,
people.
I know, and it's the same thing annoys me with codes, which they don't, like, you have all these freaking people, because they're not scientists, all these freaking just dudes who spend all this time trying to sound technical and jargon-laden about information. Click, 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 click. But they don't actually remind people that, codes were, or not really, well, depending on your definition, because I could accept that they were a code, so you could say it's not a code. Either way, it was naturally forming. DNA is what I'm talking about. DNA was naturally forming. And the other thing they don't like to talk about is that who would be the coder in the DNA? Well, it would be the actual molecules. It would be the letters and the codons. It would not be God, unless you are going to say that God is sitting there writing as your genes are being done and replicated. I don't think that's what's
Chemical
happening.
reactions.
Yeah. And so they don't just point that out. They just try and be like, ooh, doesn't this sound technical and jargon-filled and like biology? And yes, it does. And coding is technical and fantastic. That does not mean God.
Wait, let's get Lil Pee-Pee.
Well, apparently he doesn't use that anymore. I learned that firsthand, where he didn't use that. I came thoroughly prepared for that argument, and that did not happen. And so I think someone said that he spoke to a creationist. Also, I love you, James. Are you on a phone or a computer?
Computer.
I can hear the click, click, click. I love you, though. But
I can barely hear it. You hear that?
Really? I do. I hear like a chick, 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 chick. I feel that. I love you. if anyone in chat says something different, oh my, sending love from the sinister porpoise. $2.
Thank you.
Informatics and info theory are the same thing. And
Infomatox?
no, informatics, I think.
I thought it was
Informatics would be
Yeah.
like I said, I don't think he uses that type of definition, but she's speaking of information theory and then the applied of, and yeah, none of it implies a designer. None of it implies a supernatural entity, and we'll move on from there. I love you, Ian Davenport, and like I said, creationist, if you would love to come on later and tell us why, or tell us in chat, please tag us. Tell us why you think that it's intelligently designed. Tell us why you think complexity is the hallmark of design, because irreducible complexity is one of the silliest arguments. I would like to give you a complex graphic design. I wish I could get on my phone, but it's so complex. I wish I could get in my car, but it's so complex. I gave my kid a lunchbox, but it was so complex to open that he's like, screw this.
Yeah. It needed 27 steps to open a lunchbox.
Exactly. No, really, that's great design. Go. You should apply for Apple. But also, sending love to Pat Lowinger. I'm trying to remember if he's either out. He may be coming. Oh my, come out. He's either out on an excursion, checking out some site for a anthropologically good time, or he's come back. So we're sending love, Pat. We hope you either had a good
he's
time
still
or
over
having
there.
a good time. When we hope that you are,
at least a few more weeks.
Once again, not to, I guess that's going to be the theme, but not to jive on creationist, but Pat is actually doing what we call research. I don't know if this is a new term to you, but it's not going on like, well, I love Wikipedia. You guys actually should use it more because you could go to the references, but you have to go to the references. You understand the references? But it's not just going on the internet. It's actually going out in the real world, the world that is real, doing experiments and tests, and then having those experiments and tests be put up against other scientists that can, review your methodology. Oh my goddess. But sending love, Pat. Oh, I'm sure creationists will get the hang of it one day. Oh, and sending love to Dale Pastel, because we're looking for empirical evidence. You're not going to find any tonight. Surprise, surprise. Though you will get a lot of the old text. Oh, and you see, and it's not just a book. Because if it was just a book, I mean, anyone could write a book, but it's a really old book. Like, it's super old. And it's like the original something or another. So that definitely makes it something. Really does. Doesn't make it empirical, testable, or really good evidence, but it's really old. You got that. Thank you. Sending love, Dale Pastel. Woo, Best in Show. Sending love. And also reminding you that, we have, you can see our moon here. And this is my new thing. Like, there's two things that trigger me about Islam and the moon now. Not only does there a miracle claim that how much he cut the moon is always a debatable point. Like, as if, like, if he just went to the moon and did like a tiny cut, that's somehow more reasonable. But there's like a scar. No, there's not. But I also get the apologetic. How do you know we went to the moon? How do you know anyone went to space? Because science. Because we can actually do tests and verify things. But yes, sending love, Dave Gar, reminding us the Earth is pleasantly round, a little bit thick, but we're okay with that. We don't body shame. So sending love, Dave Gar. And sending love to Scott Duke, the lead hyena of the pack, who reminds us that we don't look down on other animals, even though creationists will. Once again, they laugh at evolution being the diversity of life. I actually think this dude has enough attention span. Well, he actually goes over. I said that too soon. The title's like 18 different things. Okay, but he doesn't focus on evolution. But evolution being the diversity of life, beyond it making sense and being the one of the most well-tested, empirically backed theories, framework of facts in science, how do you get different animals? Like, put all of that aside. All right, does it just go nothing, boom, goat? I want to know. Like,
I think that's it.
Like, they have such high standards. And then if you just poke them even a little bit, they have almost, I hate to say, like, trying to think of what is the, I don't want to say politically correct, the nice way of saying this. They're very special. Oh, no, because aren't we all a little bit special? They're stupid. They're silly. I don't know what to say. Like, the standards of, like, well, how do we get a star? How do we get a planet? How do we get the diversity of life? We don't need to know. We have the book. Let Jesus take the wheel. Muhammad. I guess Moses, if you're a Jew.
But I mean, we've never seen a star form. We've never looked up in the sky in a day and saw
that's right. True.
A gas cloud condense and start fusing and become a star. We've never seen all that, so I don't know.
Which is basically saying, I want a star to form in under 100 years. And if it doesn't, I don't believe in star formation. Okay, buddy. Good luck with that.
And that's what Ken says. Anything you can't directly observe becomes faith-based and is a religion.
And
we can't know anything, basically. We can't know.
Well, that was data given to you by someone else, which is a conspiracy theory mindset. I see this in religion. I see it in other conspiracy theories. Also, sending love. I just want to send a quick shout out to Wes out there, producer Wes. Woo! Sending love, and also sending love. I see Maria and Scott Duke. Scott Duke says this book kicks creationist information arguments in the buttocks. Failures, mathematical, anti-evolution, Jason Rosenhaus. That sounds fantastic. Everyone should go check that out. You should also go check out, hey, Tom Rabbit, who did collect. Jason came on, was like, I'm pretty sure that I had an interaction with Dark Dawkins that is going to be recorded. And absolutely it was. And it was fantastic.
Did you hear it? I didn't hear it yet.
I've heard a portion of it. I want to finish it. It's like a wine once again, because as the comments said, it is like 12 minutes of pure Darth Dawkins, as in,
he got triggered.
It is what we are talking. Oh my god! And I love the kick sounds that and that's not played often with Jason, but the boom, dude, it's the Grand Theft Auto. But it is the classic. Just, I don't know what I'm talking about, but I'm a rhetoricist, and so I am going to try to outcompete an academic in his own field. And that is just, if that is not creationism condensed along with, I guess, presuppositionalism, I don't know what else is. So go check that out. Yes, sending love. April Cox, Sinister Porpoise, Chris Peacock, Wolfe Willy Ignorant, Friendly Muslim, Advice Wanted, Pancakes of Destiny, Critical Cupcake, Ian Davenport, Brett, Sending Love, Brett. I will say, so I saw in chat, I saw that Sinister accepted your challenge. I would like to, first of all, nominate her again. So I think you should do that debate. And then after that debate, I would love to, I'll put my hat in the ring for whatever debate is next. I would like to, James has a debate coming up on Standing for Truth. I would like to have a debate on Standing for Truth coming up as well. I am happy about my computer's all good and fixed. No more boo-boos. And I want to get my hat. Not only that, but I kept on saying it and saying it and saying it. When we go to the open mic, we are going to have people sign up for Debate Me Brah as well. And so, sending love, everyone out there. What is up? I'm sending a love and good morning to Megan and everyone out there on the internet, Sphere. And we are talking the Big Bang Debunked tonight. We are doing, having some fun with, I guess, creationists, specifically young earth creationists, because time. They say time is our God, which is ridiculous. And I would say time is your trigger in that you cannot think over 100, I guess 6 to 10,000 years, as if 6 to 10,000 years is a long time, which we sometimes get. I just want to remind everybody, okay? It's the difference between 6,000 and 4.5000000. Okay, it's a little bit of a difference. You pick which one you want in your bank account based on the truth and the facts. Which one are you going to take? I think I know which one I'm going with. Anyway, sending love to Scott Duke, sending love to Dave Gar, everyone in chat, Dale, Pat, Diana, Grumpy, Tangang, and Ian, and Regis. Sending love to Regis, who reminds us we have a Skeptic Bible study. That's probably on the docket. We're sending love to the Deuteronomy, the chapters that we're in right now. And I was just thinking about this. I probably think about this a lot. But, you know, because I saw, I think someone, a convert to Judaism, either on the Hang Up or one of the atheist type of shows around the other day. And all I could think about is, and she said she was warmly welcomed and all this, and, you know, she had religious abuse. She's trying to get out of it. Good. I hope you get out of it. You know why Judaism's a step in the right direction? Even though they're the start of this problem, they are to blame, because everyone, it doesn't matter if you're Christian, Muslim, or Mormon, apparently you're trying to attach yourself to the cool, because once again, how old it is matters. So you try and go for the oldest. And most of the Jews, a good portion, especially in America, but also in the wider world, including Israel, almost like a half, they're like, I know that it's like this Jewish thing, but God? And you never hear that in any other version of the Abrahamic religions. I would like that to spread to the other Abrahamic religions. That, I hope, is the future.
I think you get maybe a little bit of that in Catholicism, I think.
Sure. So
not to the same scale, but
we'll put the C world, I would say, allegations, but I'm pretty sure they're proven. But yes, no, Catholicism, and I think there's a reason for that. And I think also just sometimes with the older, they also get bored with it. Not only do they get bored, but because the Catholic Church was this weird-ass institution for so long, they got invested in science. And they're like, look, we're going to put Catholic astronomers and all sorts of weird positions that do science, even when they're separating their brain from a guy who came back from the dead. And so, yes, Catholicism, the Catholic Church will tell you it is evil to wear condoms, but yes, they will tell you evolution did happen, that the Big Bang was something that we helped discover, and I'm trying to think what else. I guess the Pope, this latest Pope, will tell you that the Earth is getting warmer. So they believe in science, even when they're just not, in the back of their mind thinking that they're eating the blood and flesh of another man on Sunday. But besides that, sending love to Regos, our Bible study, sending love to the lovely, the fabulous, and fantastic Rachel Holland. Woohoo!
Thank you, Rachel.
Reminding us that we don't kink shame nobody around here. But if you are, I don't know, going around to the nations around you and killing the men and collecting the women and children that you probably don't have family values, we should probably just throw that one away. Maybe. Not saying family is not important. I'm saying you killed the families. Oh, I'm sorry. Not you. Just the story that you support. Because luckily, the Old Testament is as real as Hogwarts. Thank the God we don't believe in.
And,
but
Scott, we're both on the east coast of the United States. We're not near any of the poles.
We are both in the East Coast, but I think James and I would both admit that to us, basically, time is an illusion. We go on live
for the most part.
We have a schedule, which is time. Time. What is time? But we love all of you out there. But there was so much time now.
Just in time.
Just in time. When the good show. My joke with him is the news is almost always terrible. It's why I try and pay attention to it, but it's almost always the bad news. But when you have to watch bad news, you should be watching in time. So go watch Nick Time, on time, not on Amy Time. On YouTube. Sending so much love, and sending so much love to Regos, Rachel Holland, and Senator Kato. Is a cat trying to poke their head in? Oh, no, they're not. Okay. Sending love from Penelope and Moonlight. But sending love to Senator Cato, reminding us that the Church of State, more important now than ever, probably always going to be, please, it's not going to be your version of theism in control. And there's like 40,000. And I wish I was exaggerating. Like, there are a lot of different denominations in religion. Many of them go extinct, get absorbed. It's why you probably hang a Christmas tree, but the Old Testament says, whatever. But sending love, Senator Cato,
thank you,
and sending love to James Wolfe, reminding you that we oftentimes howl at the moon, and all of our shows are 3 at least that we have are Bible studies, our Skeptic and Ranting like this one, and most specifically our Midnight Rantings are aimed at allowing people to say what they want to say. And so sending love to James Wolfe out there. Thank you so very much for the support. And come one, come all later on. Skeptic and Ranting, we tend to have a video, a subject, an opposition viewpoint before we get on to the open mic. But we do want to hear, especially if you disagree with us or think that you have something very relevant, you do agree with us, still come on. But sending love to James Wolfe, and sending last but not least, to the universe in your fingertips Matt Deeg sending so much love, and I want to continue to put pressure on young Earth creationists because, yeah, old Earth creationists really get a pass. I want to know how you form a planet, a star, a galaxy, anything, and don't just say God. That is not an answer. Saying God is a non-answer. It is a deus ex machina. It's almost kind of where the concept came from. So please, no plot devices. Just explain how. And I'll take the diversity of life too. I'll just throw evolution in there. You could say it's all wrong. Oh my God, who knew? All those scientists for hundreds of years. And I mean, the fact that COVID even happened. I mean, it doesn't matter. Just throw out your opinion on vaccines. If you believe COVID is an entity, whether artificial, natural, it's evolution. How else do you get there? Whatever. But it's still a virus. Yes. Who told you it wasn't going to be? It's not Pokemon. I seriously, that's the one, some of the last props I need to get. Because I feel I'm getting good staffed. I do want to make maybe a wish list, but most of the things I wanted. But I want 2 Pokemon, which is just, and it's any Pokemon.
Those props are going to condense into a singularity.
Oh my God, it's all
You're going to have a
coming
black
back.
hole of props.
And well, I honestly think they're waiting for one animal to just poof into another animal. Like they really do think that the Pokemon model of evolution is how it should happen in the real world. And it's not. It doesn't. I don't know what to happen. I don't know what to say. Life is not anime. Okay? I wish it was, but it's not. Go take a physics class, a biology, a chemistry, something.
Whoa.
Does Sky Daddy count?
That's
yes.
not science. We can't test it or repeat it.
Exactly. Well, they have no falsifiability. They want, like I said, I not only do I think that their standards are decently high with science, I'm actually okay. I think we can almost answer every one of the questions that creationists bring. I noticed that a lot in this video that we're about to get to.
They just don't accept
is
the
that
answers.
What boggles my mind, especially towards the end, is he asks and he has certain questions that would be on the beginning of a science documentary or a film, like how did planets form? How did we get here? How did we? And then the science documentary would then go into these questions, and instead it's just like, hello, anybody? I want to know. Does anybody know? It's like, dude,
no.
There are answers to a lot of these questions.
Just increase the Flash Gordon noise and put up more science stuff.
And yes, Pokemon is more like a metamorphosis. It is. I mean, it would basically be almost like what an insect what a caterpillar into a cocoon into a butterfly does. They expect that to be evolution, and at all times for everything, not even animals, just everything. It's just that's not how life
Whales come
works gently and through generations and populations, generations and populations. But yes, now I'm talking more about evolution than I think. I'm talking more science than this guy is about to talk. But I do want to thank, once again, all of our channel members, all of our Patreons, all of our mods, the people in chat, and just our general subscribers and viewers like you. You guys are who make this channel even possible. We have, and I told James this, there is going to be a specific Patreon channel member unlisted stream this weekend. And so you will be able to email us your questions ahead of time, or you will be able to put them in chat depending on what tier you are and ask that many questions to us, and we will read them on screen. We will then record it. That chat will be gone, and we will premiere it, and all of our just subscribers and viewers, you'll just be able to watch the premieres. We answer those questions. And so it doesn't matter who you are, you got no money. Doesn't matter if you're a skeptic, a non-believer, or just a theist on Team Science. We are sending love out there for you. We're going to give you more content one way or the other. And so we love you. And you were like me. Sending so much.
Force feed you the content. Cram it down.
And we're not selling the invisible product. Once again, James and I will often say our moderate, mostly apolitical. Every once in a while we dilly-dally. But we're okay with the market. It's just don't sell us the invisible product, the Sky Daddy, because you can't actually prove that's there. But yes, with that, and before we get to the opposing viewpoint, which it's always a doozy, but actually, thank you for letting me just take. Sponsored by Sugar Salty Water. Sending love. A Doubting Thomas out there. Beamsy. Udif. Everybody. And all right. That is right. Big Bang debunked. Whoa. Well, you better alert the scientific community, because funny enough, these claims never come from physicists or people from a relevant field. They almost always come, that's what he or she or they said, from religious folks who think that some field of science is leading people away from God. That's because they themselves think that the world is 6,000 years old. And they don't actually have a model to put forward other than an old book said a thing, and they don't want to explain, I don't know, how planets, life, or the diversity of it formed. Poof, poof. And I spoke, and it was science. No, really. Beyond, God made it so. However, they can spend hours upon hours talking about nothing and how their personal experience with Jesus makes them, believe that a man rose from the dead. Or, as we call it, science. So, Big Bang debunked. We can sit here and talk about the cosmic microwave background radiation, an imprint of the early universe, which exists even today, or Hubble's law that force pushing us outwards, which necessitates everything coming, that's what he's here, they said, from a single point. But this isn't religious people having a science debate. This is religion versus a science debate. Thank you. And all right, with that, and before we get to the opposing viewpoint, how are you tonight, James? And are you looking for an expanding good time?
I sure am. Well, thanks, guys, for meeting us this afternoon. It is a way earlier than we usually do, but hey, we have some time in the day, so we said, hey, we'll do a stream. We do a daytime stream once in a while. Usually, it actually gets a lot of people. People usually aren't able to catch us late night because they're in bed. So it's good to see you guys. I have a debate coming up this coming Tuesday on Standing for Truth channel on Noah's Ark, Noah's Flood. So I think that's going to be a really fun debate. So if you guys want to check that out, I'm looking forward to it. And then I'm sure we'll do a after show on here. Yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see if we can do one Tuesday night, or depending on what we've got going on. Maybe though, it is always fun to do the after show right after the debate, while it's fresh in everybody's mind. But yep, let's get on with video, Newman.
All right, thank you so very much, James. And let me pull this up. And with that, we are going to hear the title. It kills me because of how long it is. We're going to hear from the opposition viewpoint, or rather, Big Bang Debunked, or God versus Big Bang. How old is the universe? Big Bang versus God? Intelligent design? Is this on a box? Is that how he's trying to market it? Oh, look, intelligent design. Okay, it's Big Bang versus God. How old is the universe? Oh, man, only 6,000 calories as opposed to, I don't know how they do it. But yes, from Living Forever. But feel free to keep on tagging James W. and myself in chat at Amy Newman. It helps us see your comment so we can show it up on screen. We'll try and say hello to everybody. But with that, we are going to head into the opposing viewpoint of Big Bang Debunked.
You got Pat out there. So how you doing, Pat? Good to see you.
Pat, sending so much love. It's always, once again, I am sending love to all of the actual academics out there, and I am so sorry that we have to deal with, I don't know, the bullshit that is young Earth creationism. But let the fun begin. Also, can we just say how much it triggers me that this notion of theistic trying to get rid of death? Because I'm sorry.
They're telling you right there.
I used to say there are two things guaranteed in life, and that was death and taxes. But Kent Hovind, we've learned, disagreed. And so we've learned there's only one thing in life that's true, and that is death. And so I'm sorry. Part of being an adult, but we can live an awesome life. I don't want to be a downer. There's actually a lot, like the nonsense we're about to hear. No. Also, I will send love out there. I tried finding his 1, 2, and 3, and I could not find it. And he had one other video there, and it was also labeled Part 4. So from all perspectives, all I can tell you is that this is his thing, but maybe he mashed them together.
There are hundreds of theories on the creation of the universe. The very definition of creation, according to the Merriam-Webster.
Once again, there are hundreds of hypotheses. Theories, maybe not so much, because a theory is a framework of facts that you could test and verify.
Dictionary is to bring into existence, or to produce with imaginative skill. There are 7 popular theories that expand on the Big Bang Theory, and there have been many stories throughout human history about creation from the Greeks, Sumerians, Cherokees, Mayans, and Egyptians.
Well, the other thing I'm trying to remember if I think I said this backstage, is that this is about, if we were to break it up, he sprinkles some things that I think are true, but then what happens is he builds it up to knock them down, and the longer it goes on, it's almost like the Scientology type of thing. The more bullshit fills in until, oh my, the reveals as you...
Christians and Jews believe in the same creation events of the earth.
There's that Judo-Christian thing. No, not really.
Our sun and moon, and all living creatures, as written in the book of Genesis from the Old Testament. But, what do people in our present world believe? 40% said they believed in a universal creation controlled by God in 10,000 years.
And unfortunately, I will say, the statistics that he's showing are very specifically American. America does have a problem with religion that we are trying to get rid of our purity culture. I say our culture because our government is actually secular. Our founders, will put the unfortunate slavery to the side, were smart enough to actually have a government that did not include religion because of their deism.
33% said they believed in a universal creation by God over billions of years. 22% said they believed in a universal creation without a God over billions of years. 5% said they were unsure.
And I just want to say,
yeah,
at least a good amount say.
Yeah.
What's that?
You can manipulate these polls and statistics. It's all how you word things. They, you can manipulate them. And
what I imagine,
almost anything.
If I were to generalize, it is basically, are you a fundamentalist? Are you kind of religious or spiritual but not religious? And are you, yeah, and I mean, you're going to find, in this country, you're going to find the fundamentalists that are going to say, no, God, unfortunately, we have a big problem with fundamentalism, that believes that it happened in 6,000 to 10,000 years old. That should not be a normalized claim. We need to unnormalize this claim, just like we unnormalized a flat Earth. And then these people at least believe in science. I'm going to give them that. I don't really care, okay? If you believe in God, this channel, I think my skepticism, I think James would say the same thing, leads to my atheism. Nonetheless, please just don't believe that it's 6,000 to 10,000 years old. And if you do, put your money where your damn mouth is and go out there and put up a model. But yes, once again, I'm saying some of this is relevant. This is not true. This is just illustrating the problem.
God over billions of years. 5% said they were unsure. A Big Bang expansion event can be summarized as a cosmological model of the observable universe, from a point in time of a singularity explosion of energy, matter, and space, expanding from an initial state of extremely high density and high temperature, creating a universe full of stars, nebulas, and solar systems over billions of years.
Beautiful. And I will say, I'll keep on saying it, I enjoy the production values of this. That's the one compliment I can actually say, is that, there you go. There's my props. Because some videos look like they're made from 1998. So I do have to at least give that. Even if I disagree with almost everything that this man says when he does his own commentary, when he vibes away from anything factual.
The Genesis event of the Old Testament can be summarized as an instantaneous creation of space and time.
And there we go, ladies and gentlemen. I think we can mark right then as the time when he stopped talking about science. All right, let's continue.
The Earth and another instantaneous creation of light throughout the universe, after which our sun and moon were created, and then the stars, all set in part of a 6-day creation event, spoken into existence by God.
They got it backwards.
Whether you believe that the universe was brought into existence by an explosion expansion event, or an all-powerful God.
This is another thing he gets wrong consistently. Like, the Big Bang is not an explosion. It is an expansion event. It wasn't like, boom, goes the dynamite. That is not what the Big Bang is.
God who brought everything into existence, simply by his very words and thoughts. Both have to have these qualities as stated by American astronomer Robert Jastrow, where he was forced to concede that whether the Genesis event or the Big Bang event happened, both are said to commence suddenly and sharply at a
The Big Bang happened. Whether the Genesis event happened, you need to put forth your own paper. You need to put forth any evidence ever.
definite moment in time, in a flash of light and energy.
No. This is so funny. As if he had created too much. First of all, there's stuff. This is expanding into pre-existing stuff. But I get it. You're making a computer animation. So in some respects, even this one that you're trying to emulate is wrong. And this is definitely, I don't know where you got this from. I would like to see. And please, once again, write a paper about it. Present it for peer review.
Then the question becomes, what or who brought the universe into existence?
Ladies and gentlemen, if you had creationist bingo, and you can have a shot, we use the word chance. They love the word chance. Ooh. I hope he uses the word nothing.
Or what or who produced the universe with imaginative skill?
I'm sorry, what?
Into existence. Or what or who?
Who? Why who? Why would there be a who? That seems a little bit presumptuous. That almost seems like you're, well, I guess presuming that there would be a who to create the Big Bang.
Produced the universe with imaginative skill. There are 7 different theories.
I feel like by the end of this video, we are going to have used every possible stock footage of like cosmic bang possible.
Theories of the Big Bang, eternal inflation, conformal cyclic model, black hole mirage, plasma universe, slow freeze, Hindu cosmology, and the steady state. George Lemaitre was the first to propose this theory in 1927, but it was Fred Hoyle who coined the name Big Bang in 1949, which took many years to catch on. Let's begin with the more detailed definition of the Big Bang theory, and then briefly explain the 7 additional theories that have expanded on this theory.
And then talk about something else.
The universe begins as a state of infinite density and temperature, known as a singularity. Then, a massive explosion at faster than light
Big
speed
Bang,
produces a
like a
ballooning
dark
effect,
hole.
thus forming the universe. Then, the universe was reheated, cooled, and started forming basic particles like protons and neutrons. The universe started at 300 light years, and stars and galaxies appeared 400 million years later.
Yeah. All true.
Number 1. Eternal inflation. In 1979, Alan Guth expanded on this theory to state that, when the universe was ballooning and expanding, it didn't stop. It continues today, leading to a multiverse, where space seems to be broken in bubbles.
It's made in bubbles? What's up, bubbles? No.
A multiverse? Identical universes that look much like our own universe.
And I love this. We're in science, and generally in science fiction is when you find the multiverse is very popular right now. And they're like, oh, you're proposing the multiverse. Well, at that point, that just kicks the can. Or you're using, it's like, we didn't say, in fact, the universe could be eternal. When you say this, they're like, the universe can't be eternal. Okay, what created God? God can't be created. He, and they always use he, well, a lot of them, and go, well, God's eternal. He can't be created. Oh, but didn't you just say, as they often do, something can't come from nothing? I mean, we have that rule. It's like written right up there. You wrote it down with a Sharpie and everything. So that means God had, it can't come from nothing. Can't be eternal. That's cheating. That ruins the rule that you just said back there. But no.
Universe, but with slight variations, existing in a different dimension. This sounds like a science fiction fantasy. What doorway did this?
That's because right now it's really popular in science fiction. There's probably like a reason that you don't go to work in a different universe. That's just me. Once again, he asks, and upcoming, like I said, sprinkled throughout sometimes he I would say steelmans the position correctly just to basically insert his woo-woo knockadoo. Okay, continue.
Scientists go through to see these other universes. How could there be trillions upon trillions upon trillions
of grains of sand, and yet it's true? What is your point? We are not putting forward the multiverse. That's not the subject, and even your millions of this thing up here. But yes, go forward. Why not? Let's go. I mean, look, let's jump back into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We're jumping into the multiverse of madness. Continue.
Duplicate universes. How do theories like this get published?
I don't know. Why don't any of the creationist theories not only get do you try? Because if not, they don't seem to meet the merit of any of the journals.
Number 2. Conformal cyclic model. This theory is based on a repeating Big Bang event, that our present Big Bang is just a transition phase, and then when this universe collapses into itself, the Big Bang will start over.
Yes, that could have been a possibility. It could have been that dark energy was not speeding up but slowing down, in which case dark energy would have eventually become non-dominant and gravity would have actually won and everything would be going in this direction. But that's not the case. It could have been, but the data shows one way. The data shows that dark energy is actually getting stronger and things further away from each other are moving at faster speeds. So, cool story, bro. Yeah, you saw that galaxy? How do you make galaxies in Young Earth Creationist model? Please. Also, Notice how that wasn't the Big Bang. Like, I use stock footage as much as the next content creator, but like, bro, that's not what the Big Bang actually was. Like, if you pull existing material and it goes in and then explodes, that's not the Big Bang. Like, you understand that, right? Right? I'm only criticizing you because this isn't like an ad. Like, you should have a little bit of a higher bar because you're criticizing experts in academia. But I get it. You're just pushing this shit forward because it looks pretty, which I appreciate, even though it's not true. You're not even in this accurately representing science.
Why would an expanding universe collapse where no gravity?
Once again, this could almost be called Incredulity, the episode.
Exists. Why would there be an infinite number of repeating Big Bang events that would continue to have repeat?
I don't know, because if the singularity after we crunched in Gravity 1 somehow expands for some reason, which actually is allowed within, trying to remember what science has, field equations, you could have a repulsive energy. And so there's actually a way you could have an oscillating universe. That's not the way that science thinks our universe is, but it wouldn't be supernatural. So once again, it's like criticizing a valid hypothesis and going with the poof model.
Even collapses. If any matter gets pulled in to form a gigantic compressed ball of black holes, stars, planets, and moons,
that's not a black
wouldn't
hole.
everything
That's a galaxy.
disappear into the black holes?
What? And the universe may just end up being black holes one day. You want to go full nihilism on you? Sad but true. It's like I said on the Dawa channel, and they're trying to say everything was deterministic. Oh my, yeah. It goes back to like dealing with death. It's like, wow, everything's applying to the natural laws. I don't just like ice cream because I'm a special human being chosen by God, but probably because it's loaded with fat and sugar. Ah, yes. I don't even know. It's called being an adult. More accurate representation of what a black hole would be like, at least in a computer, because it's hard to understand what something that absorbs light would look like.
Number 3, Black Hole Mirage. The universe was formed from debris thrown out of a collapsed fourth-dimensional star, which allows our universe to be in 3 dimensions, in turn, allows for our universe to have 3-dimensional black holes.
We've left somewhere. We've left this universe, speaking of multiverses. But okay, continue. Oh my, Ox bringing the spice. Big Bang versus God, they both lies. And look, I'll even go as far. So I think the Big Bang is a fact. I think it's a framework of facts, which is what a theory is. But I would even go as to say as God is not a lie. I think that many rabbis, priests, pastors, and imams and gurus are lying. I think they, with intent, know that it's all nonsense. But the lay people, I think they're just wrong. I think they just believe it. I think there's a culture and there's a comfort zone and a lot of other things that come from it.
A Ray comfort zone?
Yeah, and a lot of people, I think we are... I always joke, we are appropriate to separate intelligence from wisdom, okay? There's a difference between being smart and having experience. That being said, religious people view religion as wisdom. And so I view it as a faulty form of wisdom. And so, we should attack it. We shouldn't attack people, but we should attack ideas and beliefs. We should not hold that as a taboo. And so we're moving forward. And I'm basically Big Bang versus God, but it's Big Bang debunked. Because Rachel was saying this, I was going over the subject with her earlier, and she's like, it's not, even though she's an atheist, she's like, it's not really Big Bang and versus God. And I'm like, yeah, evolution isn't versus God and Big Bang. The people who get triggered by science are religious folks. They're the ones who create these videos, and we just can't help but create some fun reaction. But it's not us who get triggered by science. We actually appreciate the actual scientists who go in, day out, and do hard work so that we can have better lives. But this guy will not do that. He will create content on YouTube. Once again, we're creating a content on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. Well, we're not criticizing that. It's just, if you want to create a model, if you want to change science, you should be creating a model, presenting it, then show it on YouTube. Show off your model. Create a video about it. But all you're doing now is creating a faux pas version of skepticism. I'm skeptic of your skepticism because the Big Bang is currently the best empirically based model that we have for the foundation, the start of the universe.
Here is another example.
But then when they get to their religion, they abandon all skepticism.
Oh, exactly. So, I mean, not only do they lose all the skepticism, if you went by we can only go by what we know in the past 100 years, Muhammad is gone, Joseph Smith is gone, Jesus is gone, Moses is gone. They didn't meet anybody. Christianity should not exist. None of these religions, of these Abrahamic religions, should exist if you went by that model. If you went by that standard, I can't help it. Like, I have Norm Macdonald in the back of my head. Like, he would just bring up all these horrible crimes that people would do, but then he'd go, but the worst part was the hypocrisy. It'd be like, that's what's wrong about, not to get too spicy, but that's the worst thing about OJ, is that the hypocrisy. Well, we're in the back of the head. People are like, but the stabby. Yes, the hypocrisy is really bad. Is that these guys are hypocrites. But not only are they hypocrites, but they spend all of their day attacking science and trying to get it into the classroom, get actual science out of the classroom. And so, as much as we can laugh at them, and we should, that is generally
they deserve it.
The best medicine that you can give to this sunlight and humor. However, you should not underestimate the power of lay stupidity, because that's strong, especially in certain countries.
That's why in my debate, I pointed out to Ken Hovind that good observers were able to tell that the Earth was round long before, hundreds of years before anybody had ever been high enough off the ground to see curvature. So they could never see the curvature with their own eyes, but they made good use of the information that was available to them, and they extrapolated that we must be on a globe, a round ball. They recorded
different times and that it hit noon and shadows fell over wells. And so, yes, these gods and people of the time had ways of knowing better. I always love when religious people try and bring us a miracle, a linguistic miracle. And they're like, oh my God, how could they know? And it's never something that amazing. It's like the latest with me in my head is just this Islam thing with Pharaoh and King.
I was thinking about it after my debate with Nephilim Free, and I was thinking, now, if let's say hypothetically that Christians who read the Bible and because of course Christianity is the true religion, so it's always been around, through Judaism, but it shouldn't do so. It goes all the way back to the beginning, unbroken. But Now, if the Christians had been predicting, if they had been going around saying for centuries, like, look, I know they're not alive today, but a long time ago, there used to be this entire race of huge reptilian animals that were on Earth. Now, they went extinct right after the flood, but Noah took them on the ark. They were real. That would be a prediction that they could have made, but they didn't make that prediction because they didn't know a damn thing about dinosaurs until we started finding them in the dirt.
Because he's about
then they
to
had
leave.
to they had to work that into their story.
Finish. I'm sorry, I can't help it. Bubble, I can't help that you're leaving because I wanted to ask you 3 questions. If you get a chance, and once again, I'll put my disclaimer as fast as possible. No one ever has to be forced to answer questions or come on. I know a lot of streams are like, come on or leave or whatever. No, keep on listening. If you can't come on, we love you. But if you can respond, I just want to ask, like, first of all, I just want to know, can the universe be eternal? That's my first. That's question number 1. Feel free, if you can answer it, I'll end up responding because I have 2 more follow-up to that. But if not, we're going to continue in the video. Keep on listening. If you can't respond, we're sending you love, Bubble.
I think he goes with the infinite regress problem that it can't be eternal because if it was, you would never pass enough time to get to today, right? You'd have to wait to forever because it went forever in the past.
That's like the Zeno's paradox type of thing. That's not.
They call it. What they call it? Infinite regression is impossible, I think is what he was saying.
Well, I just want to know. Then tell me that. I just want to know, can the universe be eternal? There we go. No, we got a clear answer. That's what I like, when I get clear, non-politician type of answers. Okay. The universe cannot be eternal. My question to you would be, number 2, where did the universe come from? You can answer a where, a what, a who, but I'm really looking for that. Feel free to answer. We are moving forward while we're waiting for that.
Scientist who has no evidence that a 4th dimensional star could possibly exist.
I'm sorry.
But yet he...
Wait. First of all, we exist in a 4th dimensional world. I don't know how to tell you this, but we use space and time as 2 different dimensions. So you are a 3-dimensional being, but you are walking within space-time. And so we can actually put another one on there. You are a 4. It doesn't have to be sci-fi. It doesn't have to be supernatural. But we're really just trying to explain things. I feel like you're going through language. When you talk about 4D, I feel like you're talking about something, I don't know. I'm feeling my woo-woo meter is just going off the charts.
Created an extensive this theory.
Jen's 3D periodic table, if you remember that.
Sending so much. I do. Sending so much love, Jen. But hey, I mean, at least Jen has a model that she's pushing forward.
That she does. You have to give her credit for that. She at least puts tells you what she thinks.
For some reason, I thought that said Hawking Gradiation. It's a different type of movie. Just like Stephen Hawking, Pro Skater is a different kind of game. But yes, we're moving forward.
A black hole is a continuing suction of all matter and light. How could anything be thrown out of a black hole? What's this?
Hawking radiation. Yes, exactly. Just very subtly, literally, the black hole is evaporating. That is how it happens. What is up, Leophilius?
Hey, Leo.
We apparently, the Big Bang is debunked. And I mean, who knew the solution was there the whole time? It was God. Oh, there we go. We got our answer. Thank you. And look at this. We've gotten 2 non-political answers. There we go. So we have gotten the universe cannot be eternal. It was created by God. And I just want to know, is God eternal? We're getting somewhere.
Say that
Are we?
there could be a fifth, sixth, and seventh dimensional star, since there appears to be an
What?
unlimited amount
Did you just say? All right, we're somewhere way off science.
of universes.
No, I think he
one
said
would have a better chance of.
Yes, I'm pretty
Science
sure that
sucks.
is what he said.
Of creating a theory that the tooth fairy must exist. At least
I'm sorry. Let's set that up again. We're gonna do the old rule of three because I love it when they bring this up because a tooth fairy.
what's to say that there could be a fifth, sixth, and seventh dimensional star, since there appears to be an
I mean, it almost sounds like he's talking about what the hell. It has theory in the word, even though it's not a fucking theory. String theory. Sounds like he's talking about string theory, and I don't know how to tell you that string theory is a string hypothesis, where it has different dimensions on different level of strings. But if so, that's just a hypothesis, and if not, whenever I find they start talking about myth and like fairy tales, it's like they're setting you up for something because basically this is how the logic that Nephilim free, like he basically went, James W. believes in a myth, a fantasy, a story tale, and that's why I believe that dragons are real. And you're like, excuse me. I'm sorry.
Fire-breathing
What?
dragons specifically, yeah.
Fire-breathing dragons, yes, or
And
what we
apparently
would call a Pixar movie.
And I pointed out because he likes to talk about Marco Polo.
Oh, but this is great. Bubblegum gum. You don't even know, though. I believe in an ultimate universe. So how can we tell which one was first? The ultimate God or the ultimate universe?
unlimited amount of universes. I think one would have a better chance of creating a theory that the tooth fairy must exist. At least here.
I'm sorry. But it's okay. We're talking about a tooth fairy, apparently.
One would have millions of stories where their tooth was under their pillow one night, and the next morning.
Indeed. There is more evidence, apparently, for the tooth fairy than your God. What were you saying?
Money was in place.
Oh, yeah. That's I remember. Because I pointed out Christopher Columbus thinking he saw mermaids as an example of why maybe we shouldn't trust the veracity of Marco Polo saying that he saw dragons in China or dinosaurs in China, because apparently
I saw Imagine Dragons. That's kind of close. Well,
yeah, even famous explorers can be wrong. And but lo and behold, apparently CJ Cox thinks that no, the mermaids are real too. Christopher Columbus really did see mermaids. He said it. So
but
that's
see,
good evidence.
The Big Bang is actually indicative of a singularity, and the singularity was eternal.
Something was eternal. Maybe a quantum vacuum state or something, but there always had to be something in one form or another.
I can't think of a nothing. I don't think we could comprehend it. And yet, I don't think we could go back any far versus Planck time. And it seems, as far as we can tell right now, that the universe is eternal with the start of the Big Bang. That is where time and space came into existence. We could not have time and space because without space, you cannot have time because there's nothing to move. There's no plane to move over. You need to have the ability to go to a point B for you to go to an A to B.
Number 4. Plasma cosmology. This theory surmises that electromagnetic forces and plasma are more important than gravity. This plasma would form sizable sections of matter and antimatter in the universe. These boundaries are designated by cosmic electromagnetic fields, with interactions forming plasma, which brought the universe into a slow existence.
Really, he's going over a bunch of different hypotheses, but these have nothing to do. And Nothing to do with the
Having
Big
trouble following his logic here.
This is like saying that by rubbing two sticks together, one can create smoke, then sparks, then create a fire that can continue to expand. But then one would have to ask, where did the sticks come from? Just like here, where did the electromagnetic
Bang. If
forces...
someone asks you how to make fire, then the correct answer is not, "But where did the sticks even come from?" First of all, branches, and then trees, and then seeds, and then all the way back to single-celled organisms, then life, and then generation 3 planets, and then generation 1 or 2 planets, and then the Big Bang and Planck time. There you go. Ba-doop, boop, ba-doop, boo.
come from. And since there are no examples of electromagnetic forces
Say
creating
nothing.
plasma of any kind in an oxygen-rich environment, how could plasma be formed in a vacuum?
Who suggested this that you're trying to bring? Yeah, I get you, and I know that feel. I get you. You disagree with us, but you are on your phone, and it kind of sucks because you can't really tag things and do shit. Once again, Bubblegum, sending love out there. We love all of our atheists and theists. What was the last thing he said? You have proof for the singularity. What is it eternal? So physics breaks down at the Big Bang. Yes, but do you know why physics breaks down at the Big Bang? Because it becomes quantum mechanics. And so we don't know how to... it technically should work on a general relativity scale. It's not just even... It's this weird thing because it technically is not even Newtonian physics. Well, we have Newtonian physics, but then... it's so big that it is emitting gravity at such high scales. We don't really understand how to mix that general relativity down with quantum mechanics. Something that is, how could something that big on that scale basically is now down to probability? That means there's technically a whole bunch of matter in one place that is governed by probability. More so or as much so than the other forces. That's really weird. I don't think our brains comprehend that well.
Right. We just have never been able to merge the two. We have good working models for things at the macro scale, and we have good working models for things at the micro scale, but they don't get along with each other. There are problems, and
understanding
they're working on it right now.
Is called the theory of everything. The theory of everything is a marketing term, though it is a real problem, as in we don't know how to tie those two, the big and the small, together.
String theory has been a proposition that they've been toying with for a while. Yeah.
He's been light on the gods so far, though. So far.
Number 5, slow freeze. The universe began as a cold, limited environment, which awoken from a long freeze, instead of a high-temperature Big Bang. Fluctuations in density could advocate for a cold and slowly evolving universe.
It's hard to understand how any life...
You cannot have matter prior to physics. Right, exactly. You can't have a god prior to physics, or anything else.
Right. It's not that we don't have physics, Bubble. It's that... we just don't understand the physics of it. That's the thing. Our understanding breaks down.
Yeah, the universe seems to have no problem with the big and the small being combined. It's humans trying to understand it that's the problem.
Could be created from a high-temperature Big Bang. And now this theory states that all life came from a frozen universe that thawed over time. What caused the universe to be frozen in the first place? What caused the universe to thaw itself out? None of these theories would hold up in a court case without proper evidence. So
I like this. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, you don't have a build-up unless you're building up to something.
Why should we believe that any of this is possible?
Come on, tell us.
Number 6, Hindu cosmology,
Ah.
states that our universe will be replaced by a continuing number of universes, all endless and all.
Yes, I think it was the Hindus that got it right. Well, no, not right. Let me put an asterisk. Got closer than the others into the age of the Earth. Was it supernatural? No, it was created by a human, as in someone wrote it down.
All occurring every 4.32 billion years.
I also like this video because he really had to spend time. Those stock footages don't come with those explosion sounds, ladies and gentlemen. He had to select those. So,
Wow.
just makes me think of an Owen Wilson. Wow.
Years ago, cosmologists were sure that the universe was 14.6 billion years old. Now it's 13.780.
It's almost like we got more accurate. It's almost like science, instead of relying on, I don't know, an old book said a thing, we actually get new data and then adjust the model. And that's actually the strength of science. God does
They don't
not
like that. They hate that things
Where-
change in time in science.
I'm sorry, continue.
No, I just said they hate that things change over time in science.
Oh, they hate that it actually gets better, apparently. Because if you change your mind or you change a model, then apparently it was never true to begin with. But now the model's more accurate. How could that?
But here's the thing: it's not like it's fluctuating wildly. Like, oh, one day they say, oh, the universe is 2 billion years old, then 800 trillion years old, then 5 quadrillion, then 1 million. It stays pretty consistent, you know.
Indeed. And God does not come from physics. Well, but why do we need a God if my universe is eternal?
7 billion years old. And here, we have a theory that expands and collapses our universe every 4.32 billion years.
But that's not what science says.
If the universe is expanding in a vacuum, shouldn't it keep expanding? What force can make something the size of the universe
Maybe he's taking pot shot at Hindu creationists, and this just goes over our head because it sounds silly to us. Who knows?
Into itself.
The Force? The Force is what gives the Jedi his power.
The ability to destroy a...
I like Star Wars. In fact, I'm a big fan of fantasy and sci-fi. My question is, I just don't get the pot shots, especially when they take pot shots at myth, unless it's a deep insecurity. Because I can appreciate myth when it's metaphorical. I just don't understand when you're pushing design up here.
planet is insignificant next to the power of the Force.
And why would the universe explode again? Unless you can answer where it all started.
See, I don't see how you can say the universe is clearly not eternal. The Big Bang does not say the universe is not eternal. It says at a certain point there was a singularity and everything was in a single point. But a single point is not nothing.
And provide measurable evidence and research, you shouldn't be allowed to list any conclusion without how you came to its beginning.
Okay, how did God form?
Number 7, steady state. The universe is forever expanding, and matter is constantly created to fill the space.
We finally have a theory that is halfway correct based on observable evidence. It has been documented over the last 100 years by measuring the distances of stars and galaxies close to us that the universe is expanding, or at least some galaxies are moving away, while some galaxies are moving towards us. But how can one surmise that matter is being created to fill the space? There are no partially shaped moons, planets, stars, or galaxies.
God damn it. American education system. Why do you do this to me? It's not their fault. They're basically paid in shoelaces. But, why do you not see planets forming in front of you on a daily basis? Well, first of all, it's probably good that you're not, because you would, be dead very soon. Let's just put that out there. Second of all, we can see that outside of the solar systems. At a certain part in the solar system's history, you would have seen that. Go back in far enough time, you would have seen our Earth clearing out all of the debris between us and the moon. But I don't know. We've been here for 4.5 billion years. So shit's kind of chilled, and we've gotten into our rotations, getting our steps in as the Earth spins.
Everything has been fully formed and set into place, as if there was an intelligent mind that created all this.
No.
So relaxing, huh?
Exactly. Just floating. This is where Drops to Jupiter took place.
The Judeo-Christian God plays the piano.
Exactly. Who knew? The singularity being eternal falls flat on its face because it clearly came to its end. I don't understand what that means. As in, yes, it stopped being a singularity. It became our universe. It became us. Yeah, Leophilia says we've seen planets form. We've observed numerous stages of planets. Yeah, exactly. We can see planets forming in all different stages. I really, the question, I swear, is basically why haven't I seen a planet form in front of me?
Basically, yeah. In a day.
Yeah, or at least in his lifetime. Okay, buddy. That's not how it works. Go write a script. Good vibes. No, the good vibes, they're gone. It's epic.
With all
now.
these theories, here are some basic questions to all these variations that go unanswered.
Okay.
Who or what created the space to hold all?
Why once again, poisoning the well, basically, from the get-go.
Space. Who or what created the ballooning effect that allowed for expansion?
Dark energy is why the universe is expanding. Why is there dark energy? I don't know.
Because of Dark Dawkins.
Because of Dark Dawkins, specifically.
That's it.
Who or what created the galaxies?
Once again,
Keeps
galaxies.
asking the same shit.
And we know these answers too. Some of these questions, it is like asking tides go in, tides go out. Once again, galaxies form from gravity. Maybe
we have pretty good
pockets of
understanding
dark
that.
matter, but also gravity. We know.
No, we know there's dark matter because the galaxies have more gravitational pull than they should, just based on the visible matter. So we know there's something else there. We just don't know what exactly it is.
And that just because we don't know doesn't mean we can say
It's
Bob
gotta be
did it.
God. Yeah.
Him too.
Who or what created darkness?
Darkness.
Is the absence of light. Yeah.
Thank you. That's actually comes from
Not even a thing.
Yeah, you have illumination, and when you go further away from that, you have darkness. Oh.
Who or what created light?
Stars. We know that. You look up. You see that? I know when you think of that, you think of God, but like literally look up and see the thing, that giant burning thing. That gives you light. And we have actually lots of artificial means, but for a long time, the big burning thing in the star or the sky, the star, the one star we have. Like I said, we are going to work our way through absolutely every version of stock footage.
Who or what
Big
created
bang.
the massive explosion? Who or what created the reheating and cooling?
Why?
Perry?
It once again adding who when it could have just been a repulsive force in a fluctuation that made a repulsion, and now you have space-time because you didn't have space before, so you couldn't have time.
Who or what created the infinite density? Who or what created the fourth dimensional star?
I also like he just adds in who, because if he just asked what, he would have to let scientists take over. But this is a religious person's video, so he has to have who.
Who or what created a three-dimensional universe? Who or what created a multiverse? Who or what created this cold environment?
Once again, it's cold because there is no energy, because you're not pumping heat into it. Once again, half of these questions you should just be, I don't know, asking your high school teacher, your college teachers, asking someone who knows, teacher, professor, because some of these questions we have answered. I know, it's crazy. The tide does indeed go in and out, and we know why. The moon has lots. I don't know what to tell these people.
Who or what
Well,
created
we've known a lot of these questions for hundreds of years, too.
plasma? Who or what created antimatter and matter?
Or when you ask those questions, we don't know we don't know what dark matter or dark energy is, but nonetheless, we can observe the effects of it. So we record it. It's not like someone's just like, oh, I want dark energy. You know what would be cool? Dark matter. No, there seems to be, James got summoned by Satan. There seems to be a force that is helping galaxies clump together, and that is dark matter. There seems to be a force stronger than gravity that is repelling all of the galaxies out every direction except for Andromeda, because Andromeda is close enough that we are going to hit each other, going to collide and make one big galaxy one day.
Who or what created protons and neutrons? Who or what created electromagnetic forces?
He keeps on edging us. We're building, because he keeps on asking who. So, who do you think he's going to put in there?
who or what created
And yeah,
more
no,
space.
I almost said antimatter. I tried to correct myself. Antimatter isn't dark matter. There was antimatter and matter in the Big Bang. There was just a little bit more regular matter than antimatter, and so we seemingly seem to be made of matter, but it could have been the other way. And yeah. Made poop. What's up, Kill Doggy? What is up? Sorry for everyone eating out there, but we are sending love to the Twitch community. I'm gonna send it into. I may end up. I have like all these cards. I may end up temporarily switching back to Amy Newman ranting. It's right now Amy Newman skeptic. I might get through all of my little business cards I hand out to people because I can't help it. It's all about marketing, baby. But check that out right now. I'm going to temporarily make it maybe Amy Newman ranting and then get through the cards and then change it back to Amy Newman skeptic. But sending so much love out there. And also if you are an active chatter and you are a skeptic, you can apply and most likely get it to be a mod on the Twitchosphere. As always, you're subject to our admins, just like on YouTube and stuff like that. Sending love to Titan, your anus, and everyone. Sending love, Brett. I'm sorry. I saw. I felt bad. I want to say. I know. I'm much more spicier in chat. I think because it's very cold, and so I get sometimes angry at some of the posts. I know that. You probably make those type of things out of love and even if it's misguided, in my opinion, for some of the things you want to protect. I mean, I want to protect children. I am not a big fan. That's why Catholicism and Islam don't have the exact great track record with me. And I was talking, I think I was saying this with James. I just want to say that, because I wanted to the other day and I couldn't, that I am a big fan. I think this is no surprise to anyone. I'm a big fan of Cindy Lincoln. I think Cindy Lincoln does great work. I think that although, it was a rocky start for her in the creationist community because she's still a believer. She has still been basically like Jesus, God, talking Hirsch, Ken Hovind doing gravity experiments. And so just appreciate support out there, even if you sometimes take flack from someone that you see as, you said, an admirer. I'm not a big fan of the young Earth creationist movement, especially him, but I'm still respectful to young Earth creationists in debates. And like Brett says, Cindy is a nice lady. She is sending so much love out there. And and send love to Dave Gar, to everybody. We are, for better or for worse, Big Bang Debunked tonight on Skeptic and Ranting. This dude has 80,000 titles. Big Bang versus God, God versus Big Bang, intelligent design, Big Bang Debunked, how old is the Earth, blah, 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 blah. And so we're getting back into it.
For more matter. For all the scientists and cosmologists that come up with theory after theory about trying to figure out who or what created the universe, the one core value that they are all lacking is a sense of humility. If they could only learn to...
Oh my. That's what scientists need. That's exactly what scientists need. All right, sending love. I see Bubbles got to go. To be continued. That's what I'm... we'll come back and have more fun. Do love all of our creationists, even young Earth creationist brothers and sisters out there. And yeah.
Say just 3 simple words.
I don't know.
Oh, and this is my greatest irony. Can I just say the next few seconds, he basically says the skeptic's mantra. Yeah, this is something that atheists and agnostics have a hard time doing. Or I'll even throw bones the pagans and heathens and all this, and academics and scientists. Oh yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know.
Variety of elements, I think.
Yeah, no, this is what you should be saying. When you don't know something, I actually wish more creationists would say that. In fact, it shouldn't be Big Bang versus God. If you're skeptical of the Big Bang, it should be Big Bang, I don't know. Because you claim to know. It's like when people don't believe in UFOs, they believe in IFOs. They believe in identified flying objects. Because I believe in identified flying objects. I see shit all the time that above my head, I don't know what it is. And yet, if you identify it, then you're in the wrong. I don't know is the correct answer, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't know.
There you go. I'll take it. I will take it. Because the dichotomy should not be Big Bang versus God. It's not. My joke, I was saying this either with Rachel or James, is that if you put science up against religion, science will win every time. So, but if you're telling me that God created the Big Bang, I can't disprove that. I disagree. I don't think God created the Big Bang, but nonetheless, the evidence is for the Big Bang. So that I can prove. So to even be in the game, we gotta just accept science, ladies and gentlemen.
From Quora discussion blogs, here's what a few scientists have said about these different theories.
Making something from scratch may not be as easy as it looks. Hence, one has to start from something.
Yes, God couldn't have come from scratch. What were the ingredients?
So where did the fourth dimensional star come from? A fourth dimensional Big Bang? And the creator...
I don't know, but stars just come from elements. They're giant gas balls that are fighting forces. It is gravity versus the fusion that is going on inside the star. That's all it is. It's not a supernatural thing.
Caused the fourth dimensional star to collapse into a black hole? Ideas like this don't explain anything. They just provide reasons to write worthless number juggling papers that attract.
And I'll take, like I said, I'll keep on saying it. That's all I care about is who's on Team Science. Because all I want is for people to, not attack the academics. I swear. There are people out there that will go in front of doctors, professors, having no academic experience, never written a paper, and say they're wrong. So I'm okay with either the metaphorical theist or even theists that are just old Earth creationists. I'm agreeing with you. I'm showing it up there to appreciate it. That's all I'm doing because I wish there were more young Earth creationists. I haven't been happy with the Young Earth Creationist movie. I looked between a very wispy saint and a very Dawaistic EF, and let's just say they haven't. Their Chuck E. Cheese privileges have been revoked. And so there's been a few old Earth creationists that haven't. Yet there's some old Earth creationists, I know that are mods on my channel. I want creationists to be old Earth. If they're not going to be atheists, I want you to just believe in science. That's all. That's what I'm saying, Brett. I'm both agreeing with you and attacking young Earth creationism just in the same breath. That's all I'm saying. Don't confuse it for me attacking you. I am springboarding off what you are saying because it is young Earth creationism that is my pet peeve. That's but yeah, sending love to all my atheist and theist brothers out there, and we're moving forward.
Attract grant money. Unless the government decides to fund a particle accelerator the size of the universe, it's better to get a math degree with some kind of genuine
What kind of hypothetical is that?
application in the real world. The event horizon of a black hole is the absolute last place that anyone should ever think of looking for the conditions necessary for the creation event of the universe.
But what about nothing? Robert Adler from BBC.
Ladies and gentlemen, we heard our second creationist. We can check that off. Bingo, and then we're going to take a shot. There we go. Nothing. Continue.
E.com makes the following comment about this subject. Quantum mechanics tells us that there is no such thing as empty
Oh, God. You're going to make me do a double shot. We could quantum mechanics. All right. Take a lime.
space. Even the most perfect vacuum is actually filled by a rolling cloud of particles and anti-particles.
I thought it was trying to remember. There's a specific brand. Mason-Dixon, a Dixon vacuum. That's what I thought.
Particles, which flare into existence and almost instantaneously fade back into nothingness. This actually makes sense if you believe that the universe was created by God. In the New Testament...
He said it, ladies and gentlemen. He finally said it. We got to... And it's the third word in his title. It took us how long? I mean, he went away from science real early. Like, it was like minute 2 or 3. But it's almost at minute 20 that of his video that we reached God. Which, I mean, it makes sense. You have to... You know, you got to rub everything else before you can just go right into God. You know what I mean? You got to oil up.
Testament of the Bible, Hebrews chapter 11 verse 3 says, by faith, we understand that the universe was created by the word of God, so that what is seen was not made out of things that are visible. Even here in the Bible, there exists a discussion about atoms and particles that cannot be seen, but everything that exists was created by this.
Who?
First, before there was a universe and a space to fill all this in, there was really nothing. No space, no vacuum, no bubble.
No bubble? Did he leave? Oh, he did leave. But we're sending love to Bubble. But wait, okay, so nothing again. Take a shot. I told you guys, Young Earth creationists could talk hours about nothing.
No nothing. In other words, there were no atoms or particles created yet, because God had not created a place for them to exist. There wasn't light or dark, there wasn't matter or antimatter. God's existence is beyond our universe. So, when scientists talk about particles and atoms, in quantum fluctuation fields coming into a visible reality, that is how they have always existed from the beginning of the universe, when God spoke it into existence. So, yes, it is possible for the invisible to be visible. But, in order to form an entire cosmos into an orderly design, there would have to be an intelligent mind capable of bringing this into existence. Is it not a wonder why there are so many circular objects in the universe? The stars, the planets...
No, it's not really. When you understand gravity, it's not that surprising.
The moons, and even the galaxies themselves, all have a circular pattern. If the universe is billions of years old, why aren't we seeing any partially formed planets, moons, or stars?
In front of you? Like... Billy, Sarah, Frank, whatever your name is. Why aren't you seeing stars, planets, moons being formed in front of you? Because you would be dead. That's the answer. And because our solar system formed 4.5 billion years ago, and you didn't.
Where's this moon?
It's right there. We're gonna get it? Hold on. Here, help me.
Where's this formation?
Gotcha, bro. Here you go. Right there.
According to Britannica Encyclopedia, the gravitational force of a planet's mass pulls all of its material toward the center, smoothing out any jarring non-roundness.
Yeah.
Smaller bodies in space, like asteroids, do not have any or not enough gravity to pull itself into a round shape.
Yeah.
Technically, even though the planets and moons in our solar system, and other planets that have been observed in other galaxies are not true spheres, their design is that of an ellipsoid. One of the most perfect circular objects in our universe is our Sun. The University of Hawaii at Manoa's Institute for Astronomy gives a brilliant explanation to our Sun's preciseness. The Sun is nearly the roundest object ever measured. If scaled to the size of a beach ball, it would be so round that the difference between the widest and narrow diameters would be much less than the width of a human hair.
True, what he just said, once again. And you have to, it's almost like you're digging through trash. Because, like as an actual example, not just an insult, like you really are trying to find nuggets of truth and gold in what he's saying, because every once in a while he says something I feel like truthful just to muddy the water so he can say a bunch of nonsense.
But if this were true about the planets becoming more round,
what the hell? And this is what I read. This is what I read by He's Skeptic, because normally he would leave that as just a thing, but he's like, but if this, okay, no.
Due to the gravitational force, that would make everything flat on our planet, especially if our planet is close to 4.6 billion years old, according to evolutionists. If gravitational forces were continually pulling everything down to form a perfect sphere, all land would sink below the ocean's surface, and our planet would be covered.
No. First of all, there's been periods of more and less water. But no.
The same shape as our Sun. The centrifugal force from the Earth's rotation is what gives it this special shape. By the evidence that is observed of our planet, and others like it in
Leo says what he said is not true. There are massive convection tides on the surface of stars, and stars in general, let alone our Sun, aren't the roundest objects measured. That's black holes. Yeah, once again, when scientists use that analogy, they're trying to say, wow, and compare it to a basketball, because a basketball made by a human is not, surprise, surprise, the roundest object either. Like, that's the whole point. But yeah, Leo is right, and he just is saying weird things, once again, to then almost knock it.
In shape, you can tell that the planets have been uniquely designed as an ellipsoid, and not as a perfect sphere like our Sun.
Why is that unique? Some of the stock footage he's just putting because it's cosmic. I have no, unless that's the moon. Moon for we may be transitioning.
Did God speak the moon into existence?
God damn it. No. The answer is no.
Or did a small planet collide with our planet 4 billion years ago?
Yes, it is stuff. It is material that is in our orbit, and things that were closer have been cleared out, and things that are further away left our range of the Earth's orbit. Exactly. There is no up or down. Those are human things. It's gravity attracting things to each other.
There is evidence to the contrary that our moon was formed from a collision of a small planet. that impacted Earth in the past, with debris from the impact forming the moon. If this had really happened, the Earth's surface would still have an enormous impact crater that would be 1,000 miles wide and 1,000 miles deep, or it would have destroyed both planets altogether.
Sure.
Do you have evidence for this? Do you?
I'm gonna guess no.
Or is this just your opinion? You pulled this out of your butt. Sorry, our moon and our Earth was formed at around the same time when things were chunky, and
I mean, I know a lot of people might be saying, "Oh, why are we wasting time with this silliness? Why are we reviewing this video?" This video has almost 100,000 views, so there's a lot of people who are watching.
Unfortunately,
this, so, yeah, 100,000 views almost.
Sure. Well, I think the Earth was volatile at the very beginning, though. You still have extremophiles just writing things about tardigrades, and that's where life seemed to have formed in a environment that would be hospitable to the life of today, though viruses and bacteria seemingly still tough. Well. Yes, it's the end of the dinosaurs right there. But I don't think it was that fast like that.
And this is how it happened.
The debris would still be debris, and there would be no chance that it would collect.
There is no way. Like that is one of my favorite things to try and get young Earth creationists to steel man our arguments, because especially if they don't understand evolution, and like do it without straw manning. Do it without you believe we came from monkeys.
They can't, because if they presented what it actually teaches, if they told people what it actually says, then they might understand it. They might accept that it's real.
It's like, what are we watching? Exactly. They could only, because to actually give it justice, you would need to be doing science. Yes, this is what it looked like. You notice what a ring looks like, and then it coalesces, especially things that are outside of that type of orbit, or much closer.
Itself to form a sphere. Our planet would look similar to other planets with debris.
No, Brett, we are primates.
No. And at one point, it did have debris. The Earth, but we have been billions of years past that in an orbit that doesn't keep it like that. People believe they come from primates, not a complex idea.
I'd say
just illusion.
We are primates.
Yeah, I don't know why it'd be, why a fact would be delusional, but and hey, the thing is, complex ideas we'll keep on going over are generally not the ideas that work. It's generally simple ideas. But sending love. Still love you, Brett. Still love everyone out there. Megan, Titan, Leo, Kill Doggy, Wes, Assembly of God, Smack Dab, all of you out there. Blaster Master.
This is why the rings of other planets have not collected itself to form a moon or multiple moons. Once the debris is locked into the orbit of its host planet, the debris...
Yo, no joke. And look, I'm going to put on, I forget, who used to talk about their book? It's the last time I'll talk about it. I just can't help it. The graphic is right there. And James is like, oh my God, here comes another 30 minutes. No, I am just talking, right? That my story, I have a story. I am almost done the outline too. I am on 9 out of 12. And it's 3 beats or scenes for each one. So 36 chapters, ladies and gentlemen. But
it's one book, or it's a volume of books?
It is one book of a trilogy. It's baked in that it resolves a bunch of things early. So by the end, it's in my story. It's run on Terra, which is, you know, a form of Earth. There is a ring around Earth, and the angels, which are a version of Homo sapiens, I have some Latin word for wings attached to it, have years ago taken control of the surface of the Earth, and thus they have put the majority of wingless humans, they call them wingles, on here. And there's a, because of the technology they have, there's a double-sided mirror, so you can't see the ring of the Earth. Once again, the title is Nation of Angels. If you guys are fascinated, I actually have my own Wikipedia. You can find the Wikipedia on there. I created it, Nation of Angels. It's going to be great. I only think an atheist could create this book. Because the angels are basically us. You know, they're ridiculously human, even though there's futuristic technology and even supernatural beings in my story. But because of how mundane and cool in certain ways the angels are, I feel it can only become from a non-believer. And there we go, ladies and gentlemen. I talked enough about my story. It's out there. We're moving forward. In fact, we're 2/3 the way through, which means at the end of this, we will be going to a short open mic. Our Skeptic and Ranting tend to be long opposition view. And then if anyone has any opposition view or whatever, can the book write itself? Please explain. No, I do not think a book can write itself, which is why I don't think the Bible was written by itself. I think it was written by humans. In fact, books aren't naturally forming. It's what makes a book different than a human. A human is a naturally occurring event. We are beings. We're ecosystems, walking, talking ecosystems. And so it's what separates us from a book. Oddly enough, to have a book, you actually have to kill a living being, right? You actually have to kill a tree, which at one point was living, though an artificial book, you know, it's still, you know, the point is it has to be made by not only a life form, but an intelligent life form. Why can't a book write itself? Because it has to be produced by a, I'll show that in a second. Why can't a book write itself? Because books are inventions. Like it's the question I would ask you are, why can two different trees make another tree without a God? Why does that seem possible? That would be my answer to you. Why can trees make themselves? But yes, poor tree. Sending love to you, Brett, still. But yes, Scott Duke says human like Captain Kirk in Wrath of Khan. I do. I say human. I don't say the H, I think. I have a bunch of things. I say water, just like Ken Hovind, but it's the way my mom says water. Water. Yeah, water. Water. That just makes me want to do this now. I can't help myself. Psychosomatic. Sponsored by Sugar Salty Water. He's smooth. I can't tell if that's like Planet Smooth or smooth like Santana. So smooth. Yes, we are just like the ocean tonight, and we're moving forward.
Tree can only collide and bounce off other debris. It cannot compress itself to form a moon.
What? I'm sorry, that was a random claim that you just pulled out of your butt.
What is cosmic microwave background radiation?
Psychosomatic, is that where you start fires with your mind? No, that's just where you see. So I know he's joking, but that's where you see something and then it just gives you the. You see water and you get thirsty.
Or CMB.
Or a headache that you just might not actually have. But, yeah,
Wikipedia defines this as electromagnetic radiation from the Big Bang. The origin of this radiation depends on the region of the
Yeah, I shouldn't walk over every once in a while. He's actually saying something true. I don't want to step on it.
Spectrum that is observed. One component is the cosmic microwave background. This component is red-shifted photons that have freely streamed from an epoch when the universe became transparent for the first time to radiation.
Yeah.
Its discovery and detailed observations of its properties are considered one of the major confirmations of the Big Bang. The discovery, by chance in 1965, of the cosmic background radiation suggests.
And then we have another one of our bingo letters, ladies and gentlemen. Our
Chance.
words will rock off chance. Yep, exactly.
I mean, it's not quite random chance, but it is chance.
Need a chaser this time.
That the early universe was dominated by a radiation field, a field of extremely high temperature and pressure. But how does CMB fit into a biblical creation? Surprisingly to scientists like the mathematician Nicholas Copernicus, who stated in the 1500s that the sun was the center of the universe. It puts our planet as the center of the universe. The Big Bang assumes that all space has
everywhere is the center of the universe, not just us. He does not understand the concept he is about to push forward.
An isotropic environment, that is, all space looks the same in all directions. If this is true, the CMB will also be isotropic in its alignment with the epicenter. Lawrence Krauss, an American-Canadian physicist and an advocate of the Big Bang theory, observed that the CMB was extremely isotropic in his research, which would promote the Big Bang theory even more, but cosmologists acknowledged that isotropy would not be likely to occur with this type of model. Krauss then said this about his research. Some of these large-scale temperature differences in the CMB seem to be aligned with our solar system. But when you look at a CMB map, you also see that the structure that is observed is in fact, in a weird way, correlated with the plane of the Earth around the Sun. Is this Copernicus coming back to haunt us? That's crazy. We're looking at the whole universe. There's no way there should be a correlation of structure with our motion of the Earth around the Sun, the plane of the Earth around the Sun, the ecliptic. That would say that we are truly the center of the universe.
He really does not understand what they mean by. In fact, the whole point of saying that is to point out that there is no center. If everything is the center, then because we expanded off from one point, everything in every direction is expanding.
The biblical story from Genesis chapter 1 says that God first created our planet and then created the sun and the moon, before he created the rest of the universe, putting us at the center of the universe, which aligns with what has been discovered about the CMB.
And that's wrong when it says that.
Not only does this mean that the creation of the universe happened here between our planet and our sun, but this also means, to a biblical perspective...
And yeah, this is, can I tell you, what he does. It's a combination. So I appreciate good non-linear editing. That's a fancy word just for film editing. I appreciate good graphics, even if it comes from stock footage. Stock footage is actually expensive, ladies and gentlemen, especially if you're using... Yeah, it is. So... you know, a lot of plans are not subscription, or the giant majority of them, they will say you get 5 to 10 videos a month. And that's like the beginner plan. And then it just goes up from there. I luckily had unlimited subscription plans. They're the only stock footage plans that I will use, because can you imagine how much, if you were charging $10 a month, how many different, and it's just each individual clip. Sometimes you use 100 to, I'm not kidding, 1,000 different little clips. So that's ridiculous. And so exactly, not only that, but it's his combination. What he does is he uses the actual truth of the scientific method to give this air of superiority, because he says a lot of scientific definitions accurately, and then just mutters nonsense for like minutes and minutes and minutes and minutes. But when you start off sounding technical, it gives your viewers a good first impression that goes, oh, this guy knows what he's talking about. He's talking science. I think I've heard some of those words before.
This makes sense, right?
But no, even though, oh no, I made, that was one of the very first points that I made earlier in the video, is that I don't hate the player, I hate the game, or don't hate the game, hate the player. Well, whatever the fuck. I love graphics. I'm joking, not joking, when I say I appreciate the graphics, because we come along, young Earth creationists that make videos that look like they're from 1998, or we have to read a PowerPoint that is like entire paragraph with the just like no one wants to read that, look at that, view that. Doesn't matter even if you're right. I know. And dark matter's gotten better in the years. But you're right. I mean, hey, listen, we just want empirical evidence, and I don't think we're going to get it tonight.
The CMB is from the instantaneous explosion of light that started from our planet.
What? Wait, what? Maybe I'm mishearing him wrong, because that last sentence I don't believe is true. Unless I misunderstood him.
Now, we don't know whether the explosion of light was on
light expanding, omnipresent. I love that, as if that's a true dichotomy.
Omnipresent, meaning everywhere at once, or light exploded into the entire universe from this point in space, and filled up the entire universe in a fraction of a second. Was the explosive energy of the Big Bang powerful enough to create life? Cosmologists speak of
life actually didn't come from the Big Bang. I mean, if you go back far enough, then yes, but it took a lot more different processes before that would occur.
The universe exploding with expansion as the birth point for all matter and life. But when any explosion occurs, it has been continually proven again.
Yeah, well, that was the other thing. That is something I would edit. He does take major pauses for just music, and like it's great that it's pretty music, but like this could be condensed, and I was listening to this dude on 1.5 and listening to it just fine. So I was going back whether I should speed this guy up or not. I think that certain people, it sometimes sounds weird, and so I wanted to just give people the option to. Yeah, exactly. But yeah. Sure, taking his stroll, his time.
That any explosive energy destroys matter and life. Wikipedia's definition of an explosion is a rapid expansion in volume.
God damn it. It doesn't matter what an actual explosion is. The Big Bang is not an explosion. I just want to metaphorically. No, stop using that.
With an extremely vigorous outward release of energy, usually with the generation of high temperatures and release of high pressure gases. Wikipedia also states that a supernova in
were you eating Chipotle? I'm sorry. It happens.
Its final stage either collapses into a neutron star, black hole, or is completely destroyed. If an explosion in space from a supernova destroys itself, how could an explosion from a singularity create life?
A singularity didn't create life. And if it just stayed a singularity, as far as we could tell, because maybe there's some sort of quantum life, but as far as we could tell, there would not be life, especially as we know it.
Most newspaper reports show this headline after an
and this is another thing I hate, is that their excitement for the end of the world. Like, they cannot be more excited for the world to end. But continue.
Explosion occurs. No signs of life after explosion. So
that's not... Like, now you're just making graphics for, once again, your own incredulity.
So, if life is extinguished after an explosion in an oxygen-rich environment, how could any life be created in an interstellar explosion of
Well, first of all, oxygen was created from plant life, and so there was no oxygen at the beginning of both the planet and the universe. But second of all, it's not an explosion. I don't want to become a broken record, but we do have to point that out every time that you say it.
cold or superheated vacuum?
That's also not what it was like. I love how it just explodes. Just explodes galaxies like little spermy. Boom!
Poof.
Poof. Once again, though, I'm
Farted
not
out one at a
criticizing the
time.
stock footage. I'm just criticizing it because he's using it as if this is what science is teaching.
How can an explosion form stars? How can an explosion form planets?
And hey, I would love to talk about this because I think about this all the time. Amy, the world sucks. It can. It's got bad. It's got good. But I'm a fan of man. Right on with you. Would love a Star Trek future. I think it would. We're moving towards every day. But we both know mankind. Though I don't believe in utopias. I think even if we were to get into a there's always going to be shit to deal with. But we both know mankind will destroy itself, and I disagree. You know why? I think that humankind has been around for 100 to 200,000 years, which is a decent chunk. Where it's the infancy of even an animal life. But and even though it's hard for us to picture that, I think 1,000 years, 2,000, 3,000. I think the next 10,000 years will pass just fine. And humans will look back at us and they'll be like, man, I can't believe how they lived. And yet, my answer to that is that life actually isn't going to be that much different. That life wasn't that much different thousands of years ago. It's different technologically, but we still got to eat, go to the bathroom, go to sleep, fall in love, have hard times. It'll be about the same. Different clothes, different tech, and once again, that may sound what I'm saying may almost sound like science fiction, but I'd be willing to bet on it. Now, the planet cares way more about the life that preceded it than came after. And what I mean by that if viruses and bacteria were to die, chances are we would actually die. If plant life were to die, we would most definitely die. And so it's actually us that the planet doesn't give a shit about. If we were to die, there's a good argumentation to actually say it wouldn't be the end of the world. The world would get better. Not being too pessimistic, I love us. I think we're cool. I think we do great shit. I think we need to be better stewards and a little bit more careful with the one planet we know we have to get super blue-haired on all the religious people out there.
How can an explosion form?
It doesn't. Whatever you're about to say is going to be a straw man.
Life.
It doesn't. Actually, you know what? I actually can explain how an explosion starts every life that is a human. Okay? There are birds and there are bees, okay? And apparently, one of them explodes and, has sperm all over. And that sperm eventually gets an egg. And so when a man loves a woman, basically.
Some of it winds up on her face. But...
Yeah, exactly. Some of it winds up in a different gender and they can't even, it never even finds an egg. I keep on trying to get pregnant and it never happens.
If you visit a property with lots of trees, and you leave, but return after 10 years, and find a house has been built, what do you suppose happened?
God damn
it.
I would assume that someone built a home, and that only happens. I wouldn't assume that a bunch of ants built the home. though those are conscious objects or people. Conscious, I say objects, conscious. Scott Duke says there's one thing we need to invent for a Star Trek future. Amy Newman, God TV radio, very lightweight, highly effective radiation shielding. That's true. Listen, we're going to need to build a lot to get a Star Trek future, but to get us out of low Earth orbit, we can. It's just hard for us right now because we still make rocket ships and not spaceships.
Explode and over 10 years, turned into a house, or was there an intelligent designer that created the house with imaginative skill?
Yes, because that is one of the few objects. Because most things are not made by people. The things surrounded by us, we're surrounded by shit we make. I'm very happy by that. James jokes, he's like, it's the day Amy became a capitalist when she realized that all the objects in here were made by other people. But that doesn't mean everything. I don't think the fruit came from non-natural causes. Yes. Fruit maker, fruit make me.
A tree
make
needs
me a fruit.
a
which
wood,
is not the
a wood maker, which
wood maker would make me wood. I'm actually good at making wood. I'm a fantastic wood maker. Yeah, basically. Oh. Yes, that was a very nicely illustrated straw man. Thank you.
You know what? It's still more plausible than his god.
Well, I mean, everything he's explaining is in the natural world, yes. But as silly as it is, and as straw man-y as it is.
How could an explosive expansion know how to form galaxies, solar systems, and planets? Then
didn't know.
Form a planet with just the right amount of
Matter
oxygen
following the laws of
food
physics.
supply to create
Not
and
trying to
sustain
do
life.
anything.
Only an intelligent designer with unlimited knowledge and power, existing outside of time and space, could be capable of harnessing perpetual energy and power in order to speak everything we know and see into existence.
Where's your evidence of that?
Yeah. Claims. Oh, and we're getting to the end of the film, video, whatever you want to call it. So he's really going to talk up the god now. Like, this is once again where they,
pitch. Here comes the pitch.
This is the pitch. I mean, he's been saying you. Who do you think? Who?
Here it comes. It's like a cool bowling ball.
Yeah.
This intelligent designer truly loves us, and his
By the way, not two naturally occurring organisms on the screen. Just want to point that out.
This intelligent design. What did he say? He loves us. Is that what he said, Aiden?
Yeah. Oh, how he loves you. Hold on. Let me get the love out.
Go back a few seconds. Your baseball bat of kindness.
This intelligent designer truly loves us and his design, just as we love the things that.
Now, that's a pretty interesting claim. He loves us, but this intelligent designer condemns the vast majority of humans to eternal torment. He's got a funny way of showing how he loves us. It's like God took every human alive and dumped us out in the middle of the ocean and decided to throw maybe 10% of us a life preserver. And we're supposed to be thankful. Oh, well, he's so merciful. He threw a few life preservers out to us, even though most of us won't.
Gee, thanks. Exactly.
Yeah, gee, thanks. And besides, he's the one who threw us out in the ocean to begin with. But he demands we thank him for rescuing a small minority of us.
we create in our life. Like relationships, friendships, and children. God created this world
Look,
that has
I'm just happy we finally got to another section of stock footage. Okay, it was starting to make my head explode.
hundreds of conditions that have to be fine-tuned for all life to exist. Isn't it time that you acknowledge your true creator?
Our parents? Yes, our parents made children who are naturally occurring, just like plants and other eukaryotic species and single-celled organisms.
Who should never be anywhere near Ieidawa or.
And I will say, I was once offered cake or death, and so I just always lean towards cake. Shout out to Eddie Izzard.
Why are
Yeah,
there so
yeah. This is what we want you to do. You see what this person's doing? They're looking at something and they're seeing the results and recording it. We want you to do that.
many non-biblical theories on how the universe was created?
Because we need something other than the Bible.
Sin has infected the world and seeks to establish a creation without God,
I love
so that
this.
men and
Like I said, you got to wait till the end. If you started talking
here
about
it comes.
sin and all this shit, no one would pay attention at the beginning. You got to sneak it in at the end.
women can tell themselves that they don't need to believe in God for their life's direction. When billions of years are
Billions of
invented,
years, hell doesn't exist. I like this is like evil.
it makes it easier to believe that there is no God.
Arrgh, Satan. Oh, I know this game. This is Shark Tank.
Just follow the money. Many scientists
Yes.
Follow the money.
Follow the money. Exactly.
How ironic, you know?
Well,
The
James,
people who get money tax-free.
religion is known for not making a lot of money, so I'm glad he brought that up.
biologists, cosmologists,
Yeah, no, everyone knows those underworked, overpaid scientists.
and high schools and universities lose their funding and grants unless they sign a paper saying that they will not teach any other theory but the Big Bang, which goes against.
Yeah, that's not true. That is literally crazy talk. Like, you do not sign a paper when you become a biologist that says you must teach evolution.
That's,
What happens is they hand you a syllabus, and the syllabus says evolution, chapter 4, and then the science teaches it between chapters 3 and 5. Do you understand how that works? Jesus Christ.
That's
Like,
what
you just create your own
Genesis
narratives.
does. Like, before you get a job with them or work with them, you have to sign off on their statement of faith.
Absolutely.
You will not
100%.
contradict their literal views on the Bible and creation. You have to sign that to go on board.
I hate to say that it's full-on projection, but it's full-on projection. I'm sorry. Finish.
No, it's just you can believe as a scientist, you can put forward any idea that you want as long as you have evidence to back it up. Now, here's the thing though, if you continuously put out crazy theories with little to no evidence, you're not going to be regarded as a reputable scholar in your field. You're going to be relegated to working for places like Answers to Genesis, where you just lie to people.
For a living.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're about to finish up. We'll go for maybe 30 minutes max, if that. And if no one joins us, we will head right into the after show on Discord. But it's been fun. We have been having a Skeptic and Ranting on the Big Bang Debunked. I don't know, James. Has it felt debunked to you?
Not just yet, but we do have about 4 minutes to go. So maybe,
True.
Maybe in the last part he'll
exactly
bring it home.
And so while we're bringing it home, I'm going to pin the StreamYard link. If you are a theist or an atheist, feel free to join us. We actually prefer either views that differ from our own or if you do have an agreement with us and you think you can add value, feel free and come on. Though if you disagree, I keep on saying it, and you're eating ice cream in your sweatpants and you don't want to come up here, fine, sit there. But, I mean, put your money where your mouth is. If you really think that these atheists, if you think we're silly for believing in the Big Bang, come tell us why. Because we want to know.
Against scientific values in the pursuit of facts based on experimentation.
We are not meant to fully understand how God creates and controls all things.
Look at that. There you go. Stop asking questions. Don't question how God did it because he doesn't want you to know. It's a secret. Shh. You're not supposed to understand. And that's really what that's really like this whole dynamic here is science is out there investigating the natural world, trying to figure out how things work, trying to come up with models that describe reality, whereas religion just runs in and says, what are you doing wasting your time doing all that nonsense when you could be telling God how great he is, which is the actual meaning and purpose of life. Yeah, why are you wasting your time trying to figure out how the universe works? If he wanted you to know that, he would have told you. He didn't tell you, so he don't want you to know. Stop asking questions. Get back on your knees.
Oh my. I will say, if I had a nickel for every time I heard stop asking questions and get on your knees, I'd be a rich, rich lady. Anyway, we're moving forward to the end of the video. Big Bang, first God, God first, Big Bang, intelligent design, Big Bang, debunk, how art is the, oh my God, we get it.
In the Old Testament, Ecclesiastes 3:11, God has made everything beautiful in its time.
So beautiful.
Also, he has put eternity into man's heart, yet so that he cannot find out what God has done from the beginning to the end. In this passage from the Old Testament, God has made each of us eternal beings, and he has hidden the complex...
No, we're not eternal. We're mortal. We are very specifically mortal beings.
...stories of how everything came into existence by his word.
Kinky. Oh.
And how everything in this universe will come to an end.
True. Not to go total nihilistic, there's actually things worth living for. So please don't get sad face. Just don't think that we're going to live forever, be eternal, because you'll probably make bad choices if you do. Say, what's the downside to thinking that I'm going to live after I die? Well, yes, it may give you temporary comfort, but if you decide not to make amends because I'll apologize after I die. Oh, I didn't get to do this one thing, but I'll get to do it after I die. No, go do it now. Figure out now. Help each other. Do the right thing now. Be the difference in the world. Once again, now.
Well, I mean, imagine your outlook on life, right? If you thought, like all the Christians say, that we're in the end times right now, and, you know, God is going to come back. Jesus is coming back within our lifetime, probably within a few years.
Does he have permission?
No, he doesn't.
No.
But how are you going to make decisions about your life when you're not necessarily planning an entire life? You think in a few years, God's just going to come back and none of this will matter anymore.
Yep. Just going to wipe the slate clean. Like I said, all of this shit, it's interesting and fascinating. It was in like the first 10 minutes, but I think like Yudov was saying, they're too long. This could be edited down. This could be made into a 20-minute long video.
A lot of it's just bloviating.
Yeah, this could happen. We should try and prevent this from happening. We should try and prevent nuclear holocaust. It is that good idea. Yeah, there's a piece of this is what kills me. There's a piece of many of the Abrahamic faiths that wouldn't be sad if this was happening. That would be a little bit
They
giddy.
want it to happen.
Crazy.
They're expecting it to happen.
That's right. Jesus comes back, and he would nail the first line if he said, "You crossed the wrong guy."
Since we are eternal beings,
we're not.
This means that we will live forever.
No.
God has
And
created
that's-
two possible realities for us to exist in.
Oh, that kind of looks like Mary Baxter's Jesus.
I know. The only way this could be better if that dude was ripped. Like if you can't see what he's like right now, but if he was shirtless and ripped, that's the only way that could be better.
If he looked like Arnold Schwarzenegger back in his heyday. You know,
Oh, look, even Jamie Russell is saying you aren't eternal. Dead people aren't alive.
Yeah, they believe in annihilationism. Seventh-day Adventists.
Yeah, I know, Aryan Jesus. I know. Like I said, the only way this could be better is if he was shirtless and ripped. Jesus is here to save you from calories.
Jesus
After our
was
death here
6'4",
on earth, where we will spend our eternity based on the decision we make. We have free will to either choose a life to
well endowed, exactly.
follow God, where we will live with him in eternal peace.
Oh, will you
or
now?
We can choose to follow the world and follow what others have pressured us to believe.
Loving God.
And we will be separated from him in eternal
Follow
punishment.
what others have pressured you to
will
believe.
forever.
That's some projection right there. We're not making any threats. We're not telling you have to not believe. They're the ones who are making the threats here.
Can we just also talk about how this looks like he's barbecuing them? It looks like an eternal barbecue pit. Pour in some more humans, please.
I mean, that one of them kind of looked like the logo for Nike Air Jordans, like Michael Jordan.
He's running,
ready to dunk the ball.
Remember when there was only a single Space Jam? It was simpler times. Just kidding. What are we talking about? Jamie Russell saying you are intrinsically, but Jesus gave you eternal life. I see a problem. Dun, dun, dun.
On this site is a video that discusses why God sent Jesus to our planet 2,000 years ago.
Does it?
Please watch. Where will you live forever?
Oh, my James, we might have to have a part 2.
Round 2? Oh, yeah.
Round 2.
Titled under, Does God Exist? To learn more about how much God wants you to
let him
acknowledge
do this. Is the final.
How much
There
he
you
wants
go.
you? I mean, if he really wanted you to acknowledge him, he could give you actual evidence that he exists, but he doesn't want to do that.
He could come down here if he was all powerful.
He could give you evidence.
Not only is God not all powerful, he's not like very powerful. Super. Like I want to know what level of power you're judging. If he can't lift a soda bottle, how powerful is he really?
Well, I mean,
like if your competition is comatose patients, I got bad news for you.
You can forgive somebody without requiring a human sacrifice. God can't. Just think about how powerful he is. He can't forgive anybody without something having to die.
Yeah, and without killing someone. It is
Somebody's
literally ritual human sacrifice.
Scapegoat.
Like which word isn't? I'd love to know, but we are actually about to finish up and then head into the open mic. We've already got Simos backstage. I want to put this back on screen because
Just
we
a
have
couple
been
minutes.
looking at the opposition viewpoint of the Big Bang Debunked. Yeah, I'm trying to see. I think this is it.
The Bible says God created the universe, our solar system.
Well,
Earth.
the Bible's wrong again.
James, I don't know if you know this. In fact, I think I have to.
Like Colonel Sanders from Waterboy. And he's like, well, looks like Mama's wrong again. The Bible got it wrong again.
Around
Somebody got the
6,000
wrong
years
answers
ago.
in Genesis.
Don't give in to peer pressure that says you need billions of years
Tastes just fine
to be here.
Yeah, that is the dichotomy right
Which
there.
will you believe?
Yes.
That is the dichotomy. One is a book says a thing. The other has actual physical evidence to support it. A book says a thing, actual physical evidence. Which are you going to go with?
Yes, once again, it could be that it is 6000, or it could be that it is 13.787000000 years old. How old do you think? Which one would you like to go with? Scientists think it's closer to that one. So I think we're going to go with that. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. I think we're going to end it there.
Yes.
Because
at the end.
We know which one we believed. I don't think James or I are convinced. We'd love to ask the audience if he convinced anyone. Like James was saying, this has close to 100,000 views.
Yeah.
And yet it could be called Straw Man the Video or Incredulity the Video. So
a buffet of
thanks.
word salad. Word salad.
Yes, Chad. What is his name? Deepak Chopra would be very proud.
So would John.
Yes, but let me read in here. I love the idea aspects are being maybe linked in quantum parallels. So much wonder lies in the quantum. But sorry, Christians, it's not your God. Yes, quantum mechanics is real, but God does not seem to exist. At least the Abrahamic God. I always say, I'm a medium atheist. I think James is kind of the same way. We think that
pretty much
gods, you can't disprove all of them, but there are numerous gods that are not true, are not real, including the omnis. And so if you disagree with us, if you think that it's God over the Big Bang, because it doesn't have to be. We were saying this earlier. It's really the Big Bang's true. Now let's talk about God. But if you think they're head-to-head, come tell us, because we are actually about to roll into the open mic. So sending love, we're going to bring Simos Funk on board, and we're looking for those that also agree, disagree. Let's have some fun. We are Skeptic and Ranting. We are moving into our open mic. Woo-hoo! What is up, Simos? Welcome to our Skeptic and Ranting. We are talking about, apparently, the Big Bang being debunked, though I don't think any of us have been convinced. Hope you're doing well, and what are your thoughts about the video or the topic itself?
Hello, thank you so much. Hello, everybody out there. Hello, Scott. Okay, so there's a couple of things I just wanted to comment on. Obviously, I am, I'm pro-hell, pro-science, pro-choosing. There's a couple of things. I love the dichotomy that they wrote. This is the first one I just wanted to comment on quickly. 6,000 years. That's a rather approximate number. 13.787 billion years. That's quite exact considering. So it's just, are you sure it's 6,000 or 6,001, not 6,002? No. Are you sure it's 13.77 billion? Oh dear, that makes me laugh a little bit because, they want to make it seem like, well, scientists are arrogant, So I love the way they framed all of this. The other point I wanted to make is, as an explanation, obviously, science doesn't have an explanation for how the universe came to be. That's an ongoing inquiry, one which may never get answered. I don't know. But I think that most scientists agree that it's something which is just labeled as we don't know, not that we have an explanation. And if the explanation that the young Earth creationists are giving is God spoke it into existence, okay, I'm not sure that that's a very satisfying explanation either. So I just wanted to point that out. And then the irony struck me that if God, he seemed to be doing a lot of spaking at the beginning. And even up to quite recently, he was spaking quite a lot. But he's been silent now for a couple of thousand years since that one particular incident.
No more spaking.
I'm not saying he got butthurt or anything, but he seemed to get butthurt, and he hasn't spoken or spaken for quite some time. So the irony is that he had all this power to spake into existence anything and everything, it seems, and yet he doesn't have the ability to spake into existence even a decent deductive argument for his own existence, let alone some evidential argument, which would be almost trivial in comparison to spaking a universe into existence. So I think the hoops that the theists have to jump through in order to reconcile the amount of spaking at the beginning to the amount of spaking that happens now is quite extraordinary. And I think that's the most thing. The rest of it was just nonsense. Just nonsense. One fallacy after another, one set of ignorant statements after another, trying to invoke scientific language as if they knew really what they were talking about. I barely know what I'm talking about, but I understood that was even more nonsense than I could put up with. So, yeah. I wish God would speak to the people that made this video and give them some kind of decent education, because maybe it would have been a little more entertaining. Other than that, that's my little rant. Thank you.
Thank you.
Woohoo! Thank you so very much, Simos. Happy to have you on board. And we're going to get both our two next speakers, and then we're on the clock, about 30 minutes of open mic, and we are heading to the after show on Discord. But apparently, who knew? We have Darth, Skeptic Ranting with us on the Big Bang Debunked.
I'll ask the question and then I'll shut up.
Okay, that's good. I'm glad to have you with us. So we are talking the Big Bang Debunked. I hope you had a good time watching the video. And what are your thoughts on that or the topic?
Overwhelming deceit that we see from most atheists.
Look, we understand that you're coming into the atheist den here.
It's a no-brainer. This is going right over your head.
It might not be as sophisticated as what you are used to. I understand. We're just apes.
No. You're making a category error here.
Oh, damn it. I hate category errors.
You did that again.
I did it again.
What have you got against cats?
I need to save the cat. Just a good one.
James will have something to say about this.
Okay, but yes, Darth, it was lovely having you with us. Do you have any final words?
There was some, I believe, dodging.
There was a little, I know. I admit we went back and forth. I think we can agree.
You are a pathetic representation of atheism.
Can we just have the one that
Yeah.
I'm waiting for, please? Which is Newman. Focus. Can we just have
Listen.
that
May I ever
soundbite?
talk to me, please?
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not
yeah. Can we
trying.
just
I'm
have that
trying. I'm
soundbite though?
trying.
We have that focus, Newman, please.
No, no, no.
F-U-C-U-S.
What does that spell?
What does that spell? A good time, a good weekend. And all right, Darth, you got one last word. Any final words, I guess, before we head off to our next interlocutor? Lovely having you on with us.
That's why atheism is totally bankrupt.
I know. Well, it's true, and that's why atheism needs to have a bigger bank account. I have been
I'm totally bankrupt, not atheist.
exactly.
I could
I've
not
been
agree
pushing
more
for
with
that.
you, Amy.
And thank you so very much, Darth. It was lovely having you, Skeptic and Ranting, with us.
And unlike the church, I hope we get it without going on our knees too much.
Oh my, I know, that's my weekend job. And all right, thank you so very much, Darth. It was
Newman,
lovely
focus.
having you. Focus. F-U-C-U-S. And all right, we're going to add Friendly Muslim, what is up? We are Skeptic and Ranting on the Big Bang Debunked. Lovely having you with us. And what are your thoughts about the topic or the video?
I have questions. I need answers. All I know is there was a small atom and then there was a big bang. And when the bang happened, we all came. So yeah, I have questions.
Oh my,
I don't have
kinky.
I don't have a long monologue as usual, but I have questions over this. Some of the sources was like, and according to Wikipedia, like according to Wikipedia, that's what the sourcing on the video was. And then there was like, oh, we took quotes from scientists from Quora. Like really? Like I was like I expected more. The music was epic. It was exciting, but
Indeed.
How
I
about
think
stock footage?
yeah, and some of the yeah, I have so many questions, but yes, I'd like to get into this open mic and ask some questions and review the footage.
All right, so we only have one more person to bring in. Thank you so very much, Friendly Muslim. And after I bring him in, all I could ask Leo is when you are done your opening statement, tell me, because then we're going into open conversation. But we are bringing Leo Felius. What is up? We are Skeptic and Ranting on the Big Bang Debunked. I hope you are doing well. And what are your thoughts about the video or the topic itself?
Yeah, most of what was said was pretty much entirely wrong. And that's all.
Thank you so very much, Leo. And all right, we are going to be going on for, it looks like, about another 25 minutes of open discussion, and then we're heading into outros. But exactly. This is our deck we are working with. We are Skeptic and Ranting on the Big Bang Debunked. I'll hand it off to you, I think, Friendly Muslim, because it sounded like you had questions.
So am I the only theist?
You are. We oftentimes have Beamsy in there. I saw Sending Love to Him. He
No,
was like
I'm a theist too. My name is Sally, and I'm a Christian.
And now we have Sally. But yes, I think you are in the Skeptic's Den, or the Atheist Agnostic Den.
Of kittens.
Of kittens, exactly.
Meow.
Oh my.
I thought I'd appropriately agree. So, okay. How inaccurate is most of what that video is about? I mean, there's a lot of theatrics going on there, but like, where are the main bits of contention with it in terms of the information? Is it now so old that the information that we currently have is so much further apart? So from when this was produced and the statements that were made compared to now, what would you say the gap in knowledge or
And I'll
science
answer
or
that,
advancement?
but I'll let Leo in a second. I think Leo's I saw him going off in chat because this dude was saying numerous wrong things.
Am I supposed to say something?
Well, I'll go first if not, because
I'm happy to go as well. I've got a couple of things to say there, but go ahead.
Sure. Well, I'll just start it off by saying that what his premise seemed to be is that he would say one thing that was truthful, and he would say that to a decent degree, and then he would say a whole bunch of nonsense afterwards.
Yeah, there was, shall we say, poisoning the well by using what might be described as unscientific language. So there he was presenting some semblance of a scientific idea, and then conflating with all sorts of language which just wasn't scientific. And I think the obvious one, the obvious one that I saw that he repeated many times was to call the Big Bang an explosion, which just is, it's just loose language. I mean, there's no other way to say it. It's not. There's nobody that even looks into the Big Bang theory anymore that doesn't realize that that's using the word explosion there is just fallacious.
Also, this consistent phrasing of the whole situation as if the Big Bang is the beginning of all existence is just not true at all either.
Oh, and calling things fourth dimensional stars, it's just that's not how the words get used either. It's not that we don't think there are 4 dimensions. It's just that stars' existence don't rely on 4 dimensions in that way. It could be more, could be, and we generally talk about 3 dimensions as being space.
And at least from what I saw, unless it happened in the few times that I had to walk away from my laptop, I don't recall myself at least seeing a response to the galactic redshift, the expansion of space, the cosmic microwave background, the abundance of light elements, all of the things that show us that the universe started out in an extremely dense and extremely hot state.
Yeah, and also referring to the CMB discovery as an accident isn't quite precise. They may not have gone looking for that initially, but it was quickly realized with the results exactly what the results meant. And then, of course, that was in the 60s, and here we are 70 years later, 60 years later, and there have been a lot of much more scientific, much more accurate scans done to reveal the full nature of the CMB.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think that's just disingenuous on its face to try and paint it that way.
So that video,
and I don't know if you know, but I mean, like when I go to when I take my car to the garage, right, it costs me a fucking fortune. Excuse my language. Sorry, I'm first person to swear. Typical. Cost me a large amount of money. I hate to think how much quantum mechanics would charge. Thank you for my little pun there. Go ahead, friendly Muslim. I hope we made a couple of decent points in that.
Yeah, no. So from the video, it seems like it was uploaded in 2001, and it's had like 124,000. So out in this period now, how outdated is most of his information? And also, why was it ever called a Big Bang in the first place?
That's a good question.
That was a pejorative against it. I don't think it was Fred Hoyle. Was it Fred Hoyle? No.
It was Fred Hoyle, yeah.
Was it? I thought it was, but I thought I had looked it up and it wasn't. I'm going to have to look it up again.
I mean, the idea is a Christian idea. It came from, obviously, a Jesuit.
I wouldn't say it was a Christian idea. Yeah, you're right. It was Fred Hoyle, yep. It was discovered by a Catholic priest, but I don't know what it would mean to say that's a Christian idea. It's just what was discovered was just a fact of reality. I don't think that bears on any religion or not.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to be what's the word I'm looking for? Generous in my appraisal.
That is very, very, very generous.
To recognize that the person that thought of the idea or the theory originally, I mean, this is before evidence was there, was of course a Jesuit priest, and so, or Catholic priest, just the same way that in history many different religions, including Muslims, of course, are famous for coming up with scientific ideas, and this is no exception. So the fact that they like to conflate this as the beginning of everything is just another one of those misinterpretations of an idea which came from basically Catholics. I mean, the story gets told that George Lemaitre, who was the guy that came up with it, was called in by the Pope, and the Pope said, "Oh yeah, so this confirms the beginning of the universe." And George Lemaitre said, "Well, you don't want to do that, because if you do that and we find out there's something scientific that comes along further, evidence comes along which is scientific, which shows that it's not, then we're going to be stuck in the usual hole of just trying to fill in a gap with God."
That's kind of where they're at now.
And that's
We
what
got
this
Beamsy
video
in
is
here
doing.
now.
That's what this
Hi,
video
Beamsy.
is doing.
Woohoo! Welcome, Beamsy. We are Skeptic and Ranting on the Big Bang Debunked. We hope you're doing well. What are your thoughts about the video or the discussion itself?
Oh, the video was... That video was terrible.
It was a doozy, wasn't it?
Yeah, as it was pointed out already, he was just using the fallacy of false definitions.
It was pretty brutal. Let's see.
Hey, Sir Isaac Newton was an alchemist, so...
Very true.
Yeah, just because someone's right about something doesn't mean they're right about everything.
He was an alchemist and a calcumist as well.
And he didn't believe in the Trinity, and he didn't think Jesus was the Son of God.
I was a modalist when I was a Catholic, so, and a Universalist.
But it's worth pointing out that, as Leo said, you know, Hoyle was a detractor of the idea of the inflationary or the expansion of the universe from a singularity, and he named it the Big Bang as a kind of derogatory term.
Mm-hmm.
He was a steady state kind of progenicist, and therefore, you know, when the name stuck, it stuck in spite of the fact that it was a pejorative.
Yep.
Mainly, I think, because physicists like simple names.
Yeah.
Okay, so even when the physicists figured out that it wasn't, and it was an expansion event, then they just thought, we'll just reflect on it as the Big Bang? Because
well, no,
it's
the idea. Lemaitre came up with the idea, right? And it follows from Einstein's general relativity.
Well, I mean, the idea that space-time was expanding was probably could be traced back to Alexander Friedmann, who is the one who derived the Friedmann solutions to Einstein's field equations, which is what gave a non-static space-time, which meant that space would either have to be expanding or at least contracting, but it couldn't be static. And then, as many people postulated, well, perhaps it could be expanding or contracting under gravitational pull, and then you had Hubble come along with the discovery of redshift, and then, oh, hey, space is expanding, and then Lemaitre came along and further developed that. Yep, and then it just kept knocking down piece after piece. The CMB, the abundance of light elements, and the picture became quite clear that the universe, very, very early in its evolutionary history, was in an extremely hot and extremely dense state. And that is all that is meant by Big Bang, which actually in pop culture, that's what it's still referred to as, but professional cosmologists would refer to it as either the standard model, the concordance model, or the lambda CDM model. Lambda meaning the dark energy, the cosmological constant that is accelerating the expansion of space, and CDM standing for cold dark matter.
So soulful the way you described all of that.
And so I wanted to ask you, Friendly, do you think that it's closer to 6,000 or 4.5 billion?
Well, that would be the age of the Earth. But yeah, good question.
I think I'm not sure that the Quran has a specific time, or that it has phases of how the Earth came about. So it's something I'd have to look into. But yeah, there was a scientist, and he sort of verified that, you know, this is where the Quran says certain things, and that sort of fits into how the Earth was made more than because how it's read and translated isn't necessarily the origin of how the word was meant at the time. So but from a Quran perspective, it is not, I repeat, not to be looked at as a book of science rather than a book of science.
So does that
So
mean I could persuade you closer to the 4.5 billion?
I don't think I would disagree. I have to disagree with that statement. I don't
You
actually
said
think that I
you.
have to disagree with what you're saying in terms of that. Oh, so I'm learning. So we're on a bit of a journey together, my dear
You
friend.
are.
Where I'm trying to understand and see what the Quran says, what my friends of science are saying, and trying to understand, because I thought that we went against evolution, and then we don't necessarily go against evolution. We can
Exactly.
actually agree with the evolution part. Um, yeah, there's a whole bunch of things that are. I'm in a transition phase, as we say, so I haven't come to to who knows. It's a case where I'm learning as we go along. I'm asking questions, which is I think the way to go, to get a better understanding of each other's positions. And again, I find it fascinating that are we now at a very clear stage of how things were developed, or is it a case that we still have questions that are not being answered? I know this new telescope that went up is more clearer and providing a lot more answers than previous. So the next 5 years could be a lot more um, developments or clearer pictures, clearer understanding of what we didn't know before or what we did know but it's been confirmed.
I'll let someone else say in a second, but I think the answer is yes to both of those because we have gotten new technology that has allowed us to answer many questions, but then because of that, it almost sometimes opens entire new fields of questions.
That, and it's not the aspect of the new satellite or the new microscope or the new ruler gives you a new answer. It just gives you more accurate data, and the more accurate data points in the direction of what we understand.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, science, the way science work is with a kind of natural error correction, which is we're looking always to disprove the ideas that we currently have, and therefore new data gives us a chance to reflect over the models and theories that we have and find out if we can falsify them with any of the new observations.
It's probably why a lot of
Go ahead.
It's probably why a lot of laymen have an issue with science, because there is no answer in science. There is just more questions.
Yeah, I think that's a little uncharitable, actually. I mean, personally, I think at the edges there's only more questions for sure. And when you said your statement there, friendly, I was thinking immediately. Well, actually, yeah, we know a lot. We know a lot about a particular regime of, say, chemistry and the physics of chemistry, for instance, is pretty much complete. How chemistry works in its entirety is still, again, at the edges. It's more questions. How biology works, etc., etc. How chemistry works on biology. Those are the interesting areas which we haven't got. But to say that we don't know how, say, an atomic pile works or something like that, I don't think that's correct. To say that we don't understand the limitations of Newton's theory, we do. We're fully aware of its limitations and its regime of use, and we use it, and that isn't going to change, right? So those are things which are kind of known in inverted commas. But at the edges, then yeah, obviously we don't understand. We can't see further back than the light that's getting to us because that's the data that we're using to judge what's happening back then. So there's a certain area which we can't get direct data for, and we have to use models to infer what happens. And obviously things like the James Webb, it's hoped, will give us at least some more accurate data to infer or to cross-reference our inferences about that early times and the first stars in particular, how they formed. Is an interesting question, which we've never been able to observe as yet. And we have theories as to how it happened, of course, but it might turn out that there's some other kind of answer that we're looking for, or we're going to start looking for, because we've got new data on how we think stars originally formed.
And guys, we have about 5 more minutes, and then we're heading to outros. But if you want to say something on the panel, now's the time.
I'd like to hear what Leo's got to say on what I just said, because
Well, I wanted to comment on his statements on the whoever the hell was in the video, the statements they made with respect to planetary formation. We've effectively watched planets form. We've literally seen planets in planetary disks forming. Like this idea that, well, planets don't form naturally, I don't understand this. Like, this is what happens when you make no attempt to understand or examine the literature available in a field before having any comments on it. I actually linked from both Scientific American and phys.org. The first one from 2020, the second one from 2006, talking about how we've observed effectively planets forming by observing multiple different stages in planetary formation.
It's the same thing with star formation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they like to say, well, we don't know how stars form. Yes, we do. We know that very, very well.
And they have nothing to offer us in return. If I ask the Earth creationists how a star is made, they'll just say God.
We can actually show them pictures.
Exactly. We know how stars are made so well that we actually have names for the places in which they are formed. Stellar nurseries.
Indeed.
So, from a science perspective, is this information being pumped out to sort of let people know, or is it sort of in the field it's known? And am I looking in the wrong places? Is it readily available, this type of information?
It depends. Where are you looking?
Yeah, that's true. Where am I looking? That's a good question.
Well, I mean, I don't even mean that as a rhetorical question, but as a serious one. Like, what when it comes to, like, if you read in anything in astrophysics or cosmology, where would you say you usually go?
Most of that's out of date anyway.
And I'll give you an out, because I'll give you where we all should be going, which is the most reputable sources you could use are things like universities, libraries, any type of peer-reviewed journals, something that has a methodology and a regulation of taking their own bias out.
Okay, so look, as a layperson, let's just say I'm your average Joe, a God-fearing man, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where's the easy access, quick look at stuff I
can I tell you? And sometimes I even get criticized in academia because they really want you to use the before. But if you're a layperson and you are not trying to get a grade, go to Google Scholar.
Well, Google Scholar will get you to all of the technical literature. Most of that is going to be quite technical. If you're looking for sources of information where you can understand things, and this is where the nuance comes in. What level of understanding are you looking for? If you're just looking for a rough outline, a lot of videos posted by like the Royal Institution World Science Festival on YouTube are really good videos to start. These are experts that are at the forefront of their fields, disseminating a lot of the things that they're doing in a way that is much more palatable for a lay audience. Look at some of the videos from some top science creators: Sean Carroll, Sabina Hassenfelder, The Science Asylum, Parth G, Arvin Ash. I mean, there are certainly places out there to get this information at a non-technical level. It comes down to the desire that an individual has to actually go out and look for it. People always ask me, how do I know what I know, having no collegiate background whatsoever? By going to these sources, by looking for them, actively seeking them out.
The best way to actually start that would probably literally find the people who are researching it and see if they've actually published videos or books, because those are usually simplified to make it easier to read or sit through before going to technical papers, because technical papers require at least a degree of understanding of what you're reading.
Okay, so as a layperson, Amy, humble request: is it possible you do a stream where we sort of go through what Leo has said and show these resources and where they are and how to good
Sure.
research for the layperson? Because just from a theist point of view, like I would like to understand, so Leah's quite intense about, your desire to go and look. Dude, I'm not, I'm looking at hadiths, I'm looking at spiritual stuff. I want to know about, I'm not a man of science that I'm so in depth into this, but for your layperson, it would be nice that we sort of say, look, guys, here's some easy access information. This is where we're coming from. This is why we have the attitude we have. Because sorry.
Everything. So I agree still with everything that Leo said, but what I will add on to that is not only can you find good things within Google Scholar, but if you go in with the right intent and not the right and not your own conclusion, then Google is a good search algorithm. And you can just go into Google and say, how did the universe form? And the only thing you need to select for is sources that I said originally. Is this a university, a library, an institution that is known for doing research? Because you can manipulate the algorithm for creationists or whatever type of sources to pop up. But if you find something, and once again, there are fantastic academic institutions all over the world, but if you go on something on like Virginia State, generally speaking, it's going to be a reputable source. You're going to be reading something from a professor that has no agenda other than to help disseminate correct scientific information.
That's why I made the suggestion that for a layperson, it's easier to start with looking for people who have actually studied in the field and have published either a book or have put out videos. That would be the best place to start for someone who has little to no understanding of the scientific method.
Yeah.
And if you want, Leo, show that in just general chat and I'll show it on screen. But we are about to wrap up and head to outros.
Okay.
Yep, well, I guess we'll end it on there, because if you want to say anything else, you'll all be able to say so actually in your outros. So it has been fantastic and fun. I want to thank you all. We're actually gaining. I see many of you out there on Twitch. So I see some of you, even though we have our lovely YouTubers out there. I see a bunch over there as well. So sending love. And yeah, and I will say, head there. Here is a video I did on the Big Bang that is easily accessible for lay persons.
And my ass didn't spell accessible right because I'm an idiot.
You should see my papers. They're all red. But thankfully, I have the spell check and grammarly.com, a great website I would suggest of anyone. Woo-hoo! And all right, ladies and gentlemen, that's right, all the fun. We are heading into our outros. We have been skeptic and ranting on the Big Bang Debunked. Woohoo! What is up, Beamsy? We are skeptic and ranting on the Big Bang Debunked. I hope you had a fun time. What you got going on, and what are your final thoughts?
What can I say? It's been a blast.
I
know, bad joke. It's 6 o'clock in the morning. I had an actual formal debate over the last weekend that I'm trying to actually get recordings of to actually put that up to give people a better demonstration of how formal debates are actually operated, not like YouTube debates. But that was mind-numbingly painful.
Ooh, I think you'd be a fun debater.
It's not necessarily about fun. It's all about the presentation and getting the information across. But it was just the person that they got was just not very good.
Well, thank you so very much, BMC. It was lovely having you on, and I will ask one last time. Big Bang Debunked?
Like I said, it's just a blast.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen. I love you all out there on the interwebs. Thank you, BMC.
Hey, I can actually prove easily that the Earth is flat.
Okay.
If you get a bottle of Coke and open it, it fizzes, doesn't it?
That is true.
If you leave it there, it goes flat. So therefore, the Earth is flat. Okay, that's stupid for the day. You guys have fun.
Thank you so very much, BMC. And I will say we accept all dad jokes. I will say, just like we accept all cats and dogs. And that is right. Your eyes do not deceive you. It is bright outside, and I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be bright outside, as in we haven't gone to bed yet. But sending so much love.
Our coffins are calling us.
And thank you so much, love, BMZ. And all right,
Thanks,
we're
BMZ.
going right down the list, and we're handing it over to Leophilius. What is up? We have been Skeptic and Ranting on the Big Bang Debunked. Hope you had a fun time. What you got going on? What are your final thoughts?
Well, what I have going on is after this, I'm probably going to record and maybe start editing a video that is a little bit more of an expansion on a video that I did recently, Can God Fail, wherein I respond to William Lane Craig with the same argument and expound on the argument a little bit further. So that's going to be out in the next couple of days, hopefully. Has the Big Bang been debunked? No. A lot of people have said that, and they've never been able to show it. If you really want to see anything on that, I've done a debate on is the Big Bang scientific, and the debate with Kent Hovind on the state of contemporary cosmology versus biblical cosmology, and you can find both of those debates on my channel. So
Debated
yeah,
that one here, the Big Bang.
Yep. The evidence is quite clear. If people want to reject that for their own beliefs, then that's their prerogative to be intellectually dishonest.
Amen. And all
Thanks,
right.
Leo.
Thank you so very much, Leophilius. Check out his debates, like James says, on here, on there. And thank you so very much. Sending love.
Thanks, Leo.
Woo-hoo. And check out his video, which is in chat. But also, we are going down the line, then heading to Discord. We are sending... Oh, he was very brave. We always love having Theus on the channel. Thank you. Oh, dear. Lord Ken Hovind. That's like debating...
I can testify that's true.
My.
I've debated him twice. Amy's debated him. He is like a rock.
Are you saying it's like debating our grandfather? Because they say that atheists say that we came from rocks. Has
like,
to be true.
Rock. Chevy.
Oh, my. But thank you so much, Jupiter. And all right, friendly Muslim, thank you so very much. We always appreciate, like I said, coming into the den of atheist kittens. We have been Skeptic and Ranting on the Big Bang Debunked. Hope you had a fun time. What you got going on, and what are your final thoughts?
Well, meow, my atheist kittens. It's always good to pop by and say hello and learn something new in the lands of cosmetologies and osmotologies and all these big words. And you know, next time I'll probably bring a dictionary and so I'm more up to speed with the conversations. Going to be finishing off some videos and putting together some articles. And then hopefully in the next 2 weeks we'll be moving on to sort of science and signs comparatively to the Quran. Let's see what's going on there. What do I need to object to? What do I not need to object to? And this continued journey of learning about the Big Bang.
Thank you so very much, a friendly Muslim. It was lovely having you on. And all right, we're going down and then head into Discord. But Simos Funk, what is up? We have been Skeptic and Ranting on the Big Bang Debunked. I hope you are doing well. What you got going on, and what are your final thoughts?
Okay, well, I'll start with my final thoughts. I want to thank both the theists that came on. It was a pleasure to have a non-confrontational discussion where we just passed around a few ideas and a few queries and curiosities. So, yeah, just thank you to Friendly Muslim. If we ever get a chance to talk again in the future, I think that would be fascinating. And Beamsy, who knew? Who knew you were such a nice guy? But there you go. That's my crawling stage. As for the video, I understand. Look, science is difficult, and it's difficult at the extreme ends, especially. That's why it takes people, or that's why it's taken the best part of 300-400 years to get to the point where we are now. If it was easy, it would have been done in the first few hundred years after the Greeks first discovered proofs, and it wasn't, for various reasons. So it is difficult, and if you want to get a simplistic version of latest scientific theories and ideas, then you've got to take them with massive caveats about what is claimed to be true against what is true, or what is just an idea which somebody says this might be a good explanation. Those are very different things. So yeah, it is hard to get accurate scientific information at a very low level. So just be careful about what you're reading, and always take something with a pinch of salt, and try and work up to science rather than just going. Yeah, thank you. Science is difficult. Making shit up is easy. Thank you, Doorknob. Yes, that's what I meant to say. So be careful. Opinion pieces can quite often just be opinion pieces. And that's why I think Leo was saying, look, go and try. And Amy was saying, go to peer-reviewed journals, because at least you're more likely to be reading something which has been checked over by a group of scientists, which are at least authorities in their own field. And that's got to be better than just reading something off the internet, or even just watching a video by somebody who clearly has a strong bias towards God spoke and everything just fucking happened. So thank you. That's my rant. And what I'm doing is, of course, I have a new Formula One channel called Fabio and Funk, where I and Fabio talk about Formula One. This week on Monday or Tuesday. On Tuesday, we will be doing a separate program, which is on something called the Mille Miglia, which is a 1,000-mile race in Italy for classic cars. And we've got some stock footage, or we've got some footage taken by Fabio for that. And we've got a lot of pictures of classic cars from all eras. And we'll be discussing the beauty of the motor car in general. And that's on a woo-woo! I like the way you do that. That's on a channel called Fabio and Funk, which I'm now going to just drop the link in, if you wouldn't mind putting it out there in the chat for me. So yeah, Fabio and Funk, please subscribe. I've literally just started it. I'm desperately looking for new subscribers. So if you've got any interested in classic cars, please come along. If you like Formula One racing, please come along. If you just want to support the channel just by being there, then that would also be wonderful. That's sorry. Let me put the name of the channel there as well. There we go. Yeah, so much appreciated, Amy. It's always a pleasure to be here. And again, I just want to go off on saying thank you very much to Beamsy and to Friendly Muslim for being good to this and engaging in the conversation and being open-minded. And yeah.
Thank you so very much, Simos Fung. And all right. James actually had to get summoned to hell. We sell timeshares there next to the Lake of the Damned. So we're sending love. Oh, look at that. Got one sub. And I'll sub too.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Producer Wes.
Send in love. You should sub to all of our panel out there. I know Leo's close to 1,000. We should try and get him monetization. We should try and get Simos out there, get him his title. So let's get him his 100. And so send in love to all of our non-believer and allies, science allies out there. I almost don't want to move it. She's so cute. We are going to be running the first channel member and Patreon stream this weekend, the link of which I will be sending in each respective location. You don't have to be there live. You can just send me your questions or something funny. Okay, so if you are a channel member or a Patreon, look at your tier and send in your email wherever I'll find it. Either send it to my email, send it to the Patreon, the channel member on YouTube, something, and I will we'll get it recorded. If you don't want to do it through that, you are going to be able to ask that question live, which I imagine a lot of you will be there for. You'll be able to ask that question live, and if you miss the show and you miss the live and all that, then we'll get you next time. This will be our first, hey, we are doing these shows, come out and join us, because we just want to give more content, and then we'll premiere them the next day or two after. So if you're just a subscriber, just a viewer, you're still going to get all those questions answered or hear a bunch of funny statements. We'll hear if viewers out there are funny, because once again, the show is called Ask Us Anything or Say Something Funny. So we'll see what we get. But I do want to thank our whole panel. I want to thank everyone out there for a fantastic episode of Skeptic and Ranting. Big Bang Debunked. Dun, dun, dun. Where today, I can actually say the words today. Am I burning? Is there garlic? When they're going to stake me? We were watching a video called, hold on, let me suck in air. Big Bang Debunked, God versus Big Bang. How old is the universe? Big Bang versus God. Intelligent design. Ugh. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, you can tell good design is things that are so complex. Couldn't you feel it? How design... Anyway, from the channel Living Forever. No, you won't. For a good time, worth expanding over. Not that I don't want you to live for a long time. Like, I don't wish that on you. It's just factually, we are mortals. We go to the doctor for a reason. I don't know what else to tell you. But I want to thank my co-host, James W., along with our guests. Da-da-da-da, along with our guests, Simos.
Thank you. Woo! And just as a final thing, I'd just like to say in that video, they say, of course, the beauty of the universe proved God. And I think Amy's doing that perfectly as well.
Thank you so very much, Simos. Mwah!
And Simos,
sending so much love.
One little thing for you. To have a final thought, you'd have first thought in the first place. So I think you failed there too.
Damn. Yeah. Well, I'm an atheist. What can I say? Full of failure.
I want to thank, and that's right, come join us, Atheist. The water's fine. I want to thank my co-host, James W., along with our guests, Simos, Darth, Friendly, Leophilius, and Beamsy, as well as the people in chat, our awesome mods who make this stream so great, and lovely viewers like you who make this channel even possible. If you enjoyed the show, please don't forget to like, follow, or subscribe, because then you'll gain access to that bell icon, which will send you reminders to join our premieres like the upcoming AMA, or join our live streams, also like the upcoming AMA, if you would like to be a channel member. Woo! Or hey, why not leave a comment once the video is done? After the show, we will be heading over to the Skeptic and Ranting Discord server, the link of which is in the description below. Lastly, if you'd like to help us make even more content, and I've been asked, this is the best way. We do offer perks for our supporters by checking out our Patreon at patreon.com/Amy Newman. I am Amy Newman, and we will see you all on the next episode of Skeptic Ball Z. Mwah. Good night, everyone. I am heading to Discord, and I love you all. Woo.